Ladies and gentlemen, please take your seat. The show is about to begin.
Presented by Front Yard Fantasy. I'm your host, Simon. Joined as always by my wildly handsome co-host, John Luke Garofalo. Our friend Coop with us, aka Coop A. Fiasco.
Good morning. Welcome into the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. I'm your host today, JL Garofalo, host for a little bit here. It's February 7th. Gotta get the date since Simon's not here. Joined as always by my beautiful, by my handsome, by my well-endowed co-host, Coop A. Fiasco. How you doing, Coop?
No Simon in the house, baby. It's
No
Coop in the hall.
Coop in the hall.
Woo! Yip, skiddly-doo.
My motorcycle had a little like Mario level up down there.
A little bling bling on the motorcycle this morning, baby.
A little bling bling that motorcycle.
Yeah.
How you doing this morning, Coop?
Good, man. I got a breakfast that I have every once in a while. Yogurt, bananas, granola.
You get the GERT?
Blueberries, yeah.
A little
chocolate milk, little coffee. Yeah, going big. Always a big breakfast. Not always the same though. What about you, man? Are you making Mama G proud? You having the actual breakfast this morning, or is it
I had a
just
banana this morning. Just a cool American banana.
Is that enough? That's the question that me and your mom are asking these days, and most of America.
Shoot, I didn't even think about the quantity aspect of it.
Is that enough breakfast? What do you think, chat? Do you think that's
chat
enough?
needs to weigh in? Needs to let us know. We got some people in the chat. We got Craig in here said GM to JL SNC for FYF MS on BSN. Indeed, Craig. Indeed.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah, man, you are one with the words. We got Tommy in the chat said, it is Tuesday, my friends, so gather near. Grab a coffee, a juice cup, and a bagel with a smear. With JL Coop and Simon on the scene, it's always a good day. And you know what I mean. Ooh, hit him with the you know what I mean.
You know what I mean. You know
All
what
right.
I'm talking about.
Tommy from Detroit. We know what you mean.
And then NKC Rules, good morning, my boy. He says, good morning.
Up, NKC?
Where's Simon? That's a good question. Keith, where's Simon? What's going on?
Yeah, Keith, give us the backstory for where Simon is these days. He's coming to save us.
We're confused. We don't know what to do. Coop and the Hogs are running
scared.
We're running wild. And
we're terrified. He's milking sheep, according to Keith. Simon's off milking sheep. So hopefully he'll be joining us once again once he finishes milking his sheep there. I guess sheep could be more than one in that situation.
Is sheep the plural of sheep?
I think fish is the plural of sheep.
Yeah, I think we figured that out. But sometimes if it's different colored sheep, then it would be fishes.
That's true. All right, cool. Let's talk some breakfast. It's that time of morning. It's time for Bring Your Own Breakfast, where we talk about all the news stories, all the hot topics, all of the I was trying to think of another classic mall store. The Auntie Anne's. The Auntie Anne's of the league.
The Orange Julius is of the league. Orange Julius is dope, dude. I miss it, man. I miss it.
I don't know that I've ever been to an Orange Julius.
No?
I feel like I've been to a Dairy Queen Orange Julius mix, but I don't know if there's like just a Julius out there.
There are, and it's exactly how you picture it. It's just
like a Dairy Queen kind of.
It's just
a Dairy Queen Julius combo.
It's just a smoothie. Yeah, just picture half of what you've been to, what you've experienced.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know exactly what to picture.
That's about what it is. It's exactly as advertised. So yeah, why don't we get into some NFL news, JL? I got something. One of the big announcements from yesterday. Star wide receiver AJ Green has announced that after 11 seasons in the NFL, he's going to retire. Great player, great fantasy football player. Started his career off with 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons. He was kind of the Mike Evans before Mike Evans. And he had 5 straight 1,000-yard seasons, comes back, has a season where he gets hurt, but has 900 yards. And then in the 7th year, he has 1,000 yards again. So we're talking pretty consistent player at the beginning there, but injuries hampered his career. Do you think AJ Green is a Hall of Fame caliber player, or what are your thoughts on Green?
Yes, I think he certainly makes a case for it. I mean, I feel like AJ Green was his peak of his career lined up perfectly with like me getting into fantasy, like my trajectory of getting into fantasy football and getting more immersed in the NFL world, the whole world of the NFL. And so I feel like AJ Green was like perfect timing to bring back that like beginning fantasy football nostalgia for me, because he was the star at the time. Him, Demaryius Thomas, these guys.
So at the very least, he's in the JL nostalgia hall.
JL, yeah, for sure. Personal Hall of Fame. Yeah. He's in my hall.
I think he could make it. The thing is, took a little peek at it. Me and Dustin were looking at it yesterday, and he's kind of a log jam at wide receiver, right? So at the very top, you have Jerry Rice, and you can't even compare anyone to him, so that doesn't really matter. After that, you have Randy Moss and Terrell Owens, who are kind of second and third in most of the stats, right? And Terrell Owens didn't even get in first ballot. So that's kind of a rough patch there. Then now you're going to have Larry Fitz, who's definitely going to get in. He's like third all time in receptions, or second all time, actually. And after that, you have some guys that have better stats than AJ Green that might not make it themselves. One who is a pretty big roadblock in the way would be Brandon Marshall. He quietly had more yards, receptions, and touchdowns than AJ Green. So when I look at it, it's almost like AJ Green might have had the higher peak, but how do we put this guy in if there's another guy who had over 3,000 more yards? So he might get in long term as like a later addition, but I think there's some people that need to get in first. I think that's gonna go down.
That's fair. Yeah, I think that's fair. And Tim in the chat says shooping to you this morning, Tim. Yeah. Shooping to you. And we got Jordan, the neck in the chat, said, "Hey, you guys have cute faces. No clue how I'm awake." I have no clue how you're awake either, Jordan. I have no clue how I'm awake.
Jordan's
Good
the
morning,
man,
my friend. Good
I
to
like
see you.
him. Anybody out there who
Jordan.
hasn't checked out Jordan Vanek stuff over at the 33rd team, he's doing some wild stuff. As far as, there's certain people within this industry that I trust for certain things, right? Like Craig's a big IDP guy. I go and ask Linda for kickers. Jordan Vanek.
Jordan's our getaway driver.
He's our getaway driver, yeah.
Every time.
You get the bag. He's got the driver gloves. He's got the jacket with like the scorpion
He's an
on the
ace
back.
behind the wheel.
Yeah.
Ace behind the. His specialty is in minivans, actually.
Exactly.
Always a minivan.
He just, classic. You hop in the car. He takes one look, adjusts the rearview mirror, and then
that's off. It. That's all he needs.
So, yeah.
He's gone.
That's the man. That's the man for that job. And also, if I had to suggest another thing that he's pretty good at is identifying coverages and different types of coverages: cover 2, cover 3, cover 1, cover 0, a little lockdown, and
cover 8.
Cover 8, yeah, very possible.
Cover 9?
No, never.
Cover 10?
Never 9, but sometimes 10. And he'll go in and kind of look at it and say, okay, this wide receiver lines up out wide on X% of the time. This team's playing cover 3 on Y% of the time. It's smash spot, DFS, windmill, back, dunk. So Jordan Vanek, check him out. He brings that to the table, and 33rd team is putting together some tools to help you out with that. So a little free promo for you guys on 33rd team for hanging out with us this morning, brother.
Yeah, going back to AJ Green, I always think about that game where I think it was him and Aqib Talib went at it in their snatching chains in the field. You remember that?
Was that him or was that Markey? Well, Aqib Talib got into multiple chain snatching incidences.
He did.
I think
it was Aqib Talib.
I know Talib. It was Talib with
And AJ Green walked back to him. He's wasn't looking.
Was it AJ? Was it Talib? Because I know Talib snatched the chain off of Michael Crabtree.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking of, is when he snapped the chain off Michael Crabtree.
Right, yeah. But I know they fought before. Like, you can pull it up. Who
am I thinking of? I'm going to have to look that up.
I mean, in 2013, AJ Green and Aqib Talib, when Aqib Talib was on the Patriots, they got into a dust up on the field, 100%. So Aqib Talib also used to fight with everybody and had a little issue with gun charges at one point. So that's Talib for you.
Yeah. But yeah, AJ Green, incredible career, incredible fantasy career. I think he definitely deserves to be in the Fantasy Football Hall of Fame, at least.
And as we get into, rookie fever here in prospect season, AJ Green, for people that play Dynasty and Devi and all that stuff, like he was one of the premier prospects ever. Like we talk about, there's a difference between being a top prospect and being a top player. Sometimes it doesn't always pan out. Like say you remember as a Clemson guy, Sammy Watkins is also one of the, like, as far as prospect goes, like most touted prospects. He had his college career and his tape and his workout metrics. He put everything on tape, and then he went like 4th overall, was it, or 5th overall? He went fairly early. So
Yeah, went high.
like he's one of the premier prospects of all time. Like when I talk about just prospects, like number 1 wide receiver prospect ever is Calvin Johnson. Like there's just nobody like him. But the next tier down, it's, to me, it's like AJ Green and Julio Jones. And
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah. Like when you look at what he did and him and Julio in the same draft, 2011, like when you look at what he did in college, his speed, his height, like it's like he was built in the lab. Him, Julio, Calvin Johnson, those guys are like the prototypical wide receivers. This draft doesn't even have anybody of that caliber. There's just nobody that size, that speed. It's interesting. And not every year you get a guy like that. So AJ Green, pretty unique fellow, one of a kind almost. So
Yeah. Great career.
100%.
Other big news we saw yesterday, Coop, was Keenan Allen. Apparently, Keenan Allen and Gerald Everett are most likely cuts from the team this offseason. Chargers can save $14.8 million in cap space by releasing Allen and $4.25 million by cutting Everett. And the Chargers are currently $23.4 million over the cap. I think this came from, was it Dob Kleiman? Yeah, Kleiman. So that's Keenan Allen has been a pretty important part of that offense the last, 5 years more?
Yeah. So with those,
Jared Everett's fine.
Yeah, Everett's been whatever. And the thing with Everett is that, like, he wasn't quite up to expectations. Like, he only played more than 70% of the snaps in one game. He had games.
Talk about Everett?
Gerald Everett, yeah.
Yep.
Like, even with guys hurt, he was only playing, like, Keenan Allen missed games. Mike Williams missed games. Even then, he was still only played more than 70% of the snaps in, like, one game. In the Chargers game, the Chiefs game, he was clearly gassed, and, like, he stayed out there on the field when he was tired. They threw him a pass that he couldn't even move to get, ended up being a pick six, like kind of lost the game in a way. Like I don't see a reason for them to go crazy bringing him back. With Keenan Allen, a lot of times when you see something like this, so Everett, him being cut, it's $2.5 million in savings, but sorry, $5 million savings, 2.5 in dead cap. I don't know if it's really that. You're gonna eat that cap just to save $5 million. With Keenan Allen, it's $4 million in dead cap, almost $20 million in savings. So that's a different one. I could see them maybe pushing to renegotiate with Keenan Allen. I think that's what ends up happening. If maybe he'll take a little less money to stay, but
one of those like veteran wide receiver moves.
If Keenan Allen were cut, he would immediately become the best free agent wide receiver by a lot, right?
Yeah.
Who's better than him? Who's even in, like,
Simon.
would you rather have
Simon's better than him?
Simon? Okay, so yeah, Simon would be the top free agent wide receiver. But would
if
you
I
rather
got
have
cut.
If you got cut? Would you rather have Juju or would you rather have Keenan Allen?
Keenan Allen.
JL?
Keenan Allen.
Would you rather have Keenan Allen or Jacoby Myers?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen.
That's what I mean. It's like Allen Lazard. Stop me when I say a name that you would prefer to Keenan Allen.
I already know all the names you can say, and Keenan Allen's going to be above every single one.
He's so much better than all of them. Yeah. So I don't think it'd be wise for the Chargers to release him. I think the best move would be to try to negotiate some sort of deal that gives him more guaranteed money, but less overall money. Right? Like right now he has $5 million guaranteed. Maybe you juice that up, bring the total down.
I can see that.
You know?
It'd be weird to see him on another team.
Wouldn't even make sense.
Wouldn't even make sense.
It would be. That's a wide receiver. This is a cut. Sometimes I hear cuts and I think about wide receivers switching teams and I get nervous for fantasy, for all parties involved, for the receiver that gets left behind and now is thrust into the one role, for the receiver that was a one and is going to a new team and now we're not sure if they can cut it. Keenan Allen is so good that I'm not worried about him finding a fantasy relevant role on a new team. Like he'll be good. And then Mike Williams is so good that I'm confident he'll step into that one role as long as he's healthy. We've seen him do it when Keenan Allen's been out. So from a fantasy perspective, cut Keenan Allen, get him on a new team. Let Mike Williams be the one, Keenan Allen be the one somewhere else, and we're good to go. Unlocks another wide receiver one for fantasy.
Would be nice for fantasy. And not to mention, whoever does end up being the tight end there, if they cut Keenan Allen, then now he has an opportunity to be a top 2 target on the team, right? So could be interesting. Let's see.
Bears. Maybe the Bears get Keenan Allen.
That'd be
That was
wild.
more like a Jaguar. Now he's going,
That
man,
was like
now
a-
he's going to the Jaguars.
That was like a
He can't go to the
Schmeagle. That was like Smeagol mixed with an alligator.
It would be so crowded if he went to the Jaguars. That would be terrible.
Christian Kirk, Keenan Allen, Calvin Ridley.
They all try to
Jones.
walk through the door first.
They bring back
the same
Evan
time.
Ingram, and they're like, oh. and they're like, what are you doing here? And they're like, Simon was supposed to make a bear sound, but he made a Jaguar sound, and this is where I ended up.
No
So, but if
players
he
ever go to the Steelers, I don't know what they say.
the Steelers are kind of like a whistle while you work team, I feel.
I don't know what that means, but I feel like I agree with it.
If they did go to the Bears, Chase Claypool at split end, Darnell Mooney at flanker, and Keenan Allen in the slot, that'd be pretty cool.
That would be pretty
Moon
cool.
dog.
And I think
don't
it would
think-
actually be all right for Darnell Mooney. I think I'd be happy with him having like a true one there.
Do you
Steve's not
think-
built like a one. He's a little
True
guy.
alpha.
He's a
Do you
little
think-
guy.
If that was the configuration, do you think that team would be dead last in passing yards again, like they were last year?
No, but probably still bottom 10.
Then that would probably hurt most of those fantasy assets.
Yeah.
Cole Kmet too. I mean, if they're gonna have 4 guys that are running around out there and they're gonna be bottom 10 in passing, that would be bad.
You're probably right. So maybe I amend my statement slightly. It could get bad for Keenan Allen. But that being said, he won't go into irrelevancy wherever he goes. I think if that happens in Chicago, it'll probably hurt someone like Darnell Mooney more, even though I just said it would open things up for him. Maybe more from a football perspective than from a fantasy perspective.
Makes sense. Charles in the chat said, morning, guys. AJ Green played for my rival high school. In the playoffs, they put him as DB when my high school was driving for the game-winning touchdown. He intercepted the ball in the end zone. Yo, that's wild.
Baller.
What a cool memory, too, because like most people aren't going to have a memory like that.
Even
So-
like they can just be like, I saw AJ Green in high school. And that alone is a cool enough memory. Know what I mean? To be
Yeah.
like, I saw him play. And then you have that story. Dude ended a game for your high school or against your high school.
Like, how big was your high school and how good were they at football that they had better defensive backs than AJ Green? Like, when I was in high school, a lot of people played both ways, offense and defense. And especially, like, AJ Green would have definitely played both offense and defense in my high school. You know, we did have a couple guys that like made it to the NFL, but how good are these dudes on defense that AJ Green couldn't crack the lineup on defense?
Or was AJ Green their best defender as well, but he was a 5-star wide receiver prospect who didn't want to get injured after receiving an offer and going to college. So he only played one side of the ball, but on the last play of the game to try to win it, they put him in.
Ooh, they just brought him in for the
That makes
higher
a lot of sense.
hired gun stuff. Still, even then, like that type of school, because we had a guy that was a prospect like that, and he played every single snap and got the ball every single play because we were trying to win. You know what I mean? Like, he was running back kickoffs. Like, we were trying to win. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, maybe that was the case. Maybe that school was at that level. That's why I'm asking if that school, your school, was like another level, because like our school was good for Massachusetts, but for Florida or Texas or California, not good. You know what I mean? There's levels. There's levels to this high school football business, and I'm sure you know that being down in Texas, Simon.
Yeah, and coming from Georgia, which is another big high school
That's another
football
big
state.
Right.
High school football's been big everywhere I lived. I see NKC in here saying, good morning, Simon. What's up, NKC? Welcome in, my friend. I think you were in here. I was listening into you guys while
Ooh.
before I got up here. I was making sure no trash was being talked. Keeping an eye on Coop and the Hogs.
We were good, dude. We were being pretty well behaved for the Hogs.
Not being naughty. No naughty Hogs this morning.
Not Hogs in the house. No naughty hogs in the pen.
I was also listening to make sure I didn't come in here and say, hey, did you guys see AJ Green retired after you talked about AJ Green retiring for 10, 15 minutes?
We did talk about it.
You did. See, that's why I'm saying that. That's why I'm saying that. Someone who did the opposite of retire, they got hired, was the Steelers' former assistant coach, Brian Flores, who is now the Vikings defensive coordinator. It looks like he found his landing spot. We were talking about where this guy was going to end up. He would probably have plenty of opportunities, potentially a head coaching job, and he was considered for a couple, but ends up as the Vikings defensive coordinator away from the Steelers. And this comes from Adam Schefter.
I think this is a great move for the Vikings. They need, that was their biggest weakness, right? At the end of the season, they were letting up a stupid number of points.
Embarrassing number of points.
Get a guy like Flores in there and just bulk up that defense. I think that's a good move.
Yep. And we also talked about yesterday how the Cardinals narrowed down their list. They ruled out their own defensive coordinator and they ruled out a couple other guys. They narrowed their list down to 3 people. Well, to be their head coach, Brian Flores is one of those guys. So now the Cardinals head coaching list, if we assume that report is right, they're looking at either the Giants offensive coordinator, Mike Kafka, or the Bengals defensive coordinator, Lou Anarumo. So then there were 2 for the Cardinals job.
Man, and he saw that report. He saw I'm in the final 3, and he said, I'll be a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, no thanks. That would have been a disaster if he went to the Cardinals. That organization does not feel very supportive.
Yes, and Brian Flores, like, to me, he seems like a guy that at the very least is opinionated, right? Like, when you hear him talk, he doesn't mince words, right? He had the fortitude to fire 2 offensive coordinators in his very short stint with the Dolphins, including Chan Gailey, who's kind of a legendary offensive coordinator. He's been around the league for like 20 years. And then, of course, as we all know, he had the stones to basically take on the league and file the lawsuit against, the league for the Rooney Rule business, all that stuff. So, like, Brian Flores, he's a pretty serious fella when it comes to that stuff. So him walking into a locker room with Kyler Murray and DeAndre Hopkins, things could have got pretty tense over there.
Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. He's not someone who's going to go to a team and if there's poor management or mismanagement is just going to sit there and not say anything about it, right? He's going to be vocal about it. A team that is mismanaged probably doesn't want to bring in someone like Brian Flores who's not going to put up with that.
Doesn't feel like much of a player's coach is kind of where I'm going. Like, right? Like, he doesn't seem like I feel like there'd be a lot of tough love coming from Brian Flores. Maybe that's what they need. But he's got a good landing spot.
I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing either. We see, like, I think like him and Tom, it seemed like him and Tomlin had a very similar type of philosophy in terms of their coaching style. Tomlin is very much that direct approach to leadership, which I admire.
I bet we see him stop here in Minnesota. He turns that defense around, and in 1 or 2 years, we see him in a head coaching position somewhere. That's the trajectory. That's not with the Jets. I think they got a head coach locked up. Robert Saleh seems to be doing an all right job over there. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe in the Colts
Seahawks.
After they inevitably hired Jeff Saturday as their head coach.
Right. Yeah. The good news for Brian Flores is that Ed Donatel is a Vic Fangio guy, so he runs a 3-4, and so does Brian Flores. So he doesn't need to. They just switched the defense from a 4-3 to a 3-4, so it would have been crazy for him to switch it back. So it's a good thing they have a guy that at least uses the personnel they have. They'll be ready to fly right away.
They switched it just in time for him. They warmed up the seat for you, Flores.
It's nice. It's nice.
Another coaching news. I'm getting more and more interested by seeing how the Sean Payton in Denver hire is going to work out with the more quotes that come out from Sean Payton. This one coming to you from Romy Bean on Twitter, saying Sean Payton will be making a big change when it comes to Russell Wilson. Asked about Wilson having his own quarterback coach and staff in the building, Payton said that is foreign to him and that it won't be happening.
Jail, you muted.
Shocked we can't even hear him.
Oh man, I had such a good sound there. It sounded like this. Ooh.
It
That's
didn't sound like anything on this side, but I'm glad you were able
Dang.
to recreate it.
Dang. Well, that was exactly what it sounded like. It's pretty crazy. Tell him he can't bring his friends to the party.
Sorry, Russ, your friends aren't invited. No, but it sounds like it's like I wasn't here when we made this decision to bring him in and treat him like a coach, put him on this other level, give him these extra permissions, and we're not doing that.
How do you think Russ feels about it?
I know he didn't feel good about what happened this year. Know what I mean? Like what ground does he really have to stand on after this season? Can he really go like, okay, just let me try one more time? Like, give me one more chance after. I know it was bad, but maybe it was Nate. Maybe it was Nate, guys. Nate's gone. Now we got Sean here. Give me another chance.
Yeah, maybe he's relieved that there's less pressure now. And maybe he's pumped that since he trademarked "Let Russ Cook," now that we know that he doesn't get to cook, then now we can go back to saying it again. It'll work out for him.
It's all going to work out for old Russ.
Oh, Rusty.
Maybe Sean Payton's just saying, you can cook. I'm just hiring your sous chefs. You're not bringing your own staff anymore. We're gonna soup that kitchen up. Get your sous chefs ready to go. Make sure you're ready for the game, and then we'll get out there.
Yeah, they're taking
That was a nice pun. Was that intended? Or soup up the kitchen?
No, it was just a separate phrase.
It's pretty good.
What kind of soup would Russell Wilson be?
French onion.
Broccoli cheddar.
Brock cheddar, dude. I mean, that's both those are top tier soups you guys went for. I think he's more of just like a chicken noodle soup.
Just a regular old chicken noodle.
See, I think a broccoli cheddar is like
amazing.
The most exciting, boring soup. Like, it is of the standard soup flavors. Know what I mean? Like, whenever you'll just listen at your standard soup flavors, it is one of the standard soups. But it kind of like elevates itself up above. Like, the whole broth is just a bowl of cheese. It's got whole chunks of these big vegetables in it. Like, it's exciting. And I think that's how Russ is a very, very exciting, boring man.
What soups are if that soup is one of the more exciting ones, I'm just not sure what soups you consider to be the exciting ones. Like minestrone.
That sounds pretty exciting, though. I'm not entirely sure what it is.
Yeah. All I know is
chicken noodle, just normal chicken noodle, boring. Expected. I see what's coming. Broccoli cheddar, and now you've piqued my interest.
Now I'm a little fired up. But
those are all the soups.
You said it was exciting for the boring soups. I just want to know what the most exciting soups are. Like,
the number one most exciting soup with.
He doesn't like soup though.
That's what
I did tell you while you were here in San Antonio that I've amended my soup take. I haven't done it publicly yet, but I have amended my soup take. I was doing something to soup that I don't do to other foods, and that's I was holding the entire category to the standard of their weakest link instead of holding the entire category to the standard of their strongest participant. Even like a bad chicken noodle soup, that is dirty water, and I stand by that take. You give me chicken noodle soup out of a can, it's going to be dirty water with the food I want in it. But
pretty much any of the soup that you're getting out of a can at the grocery store is dirty water. Is dirty soup water.
It's not going to be good. But a good soup, even a good chicken noodle, I've had tasty broth, and it's unfair of me to classify that soup as disgusting and vile just because of the canned soup. So soups, I formally apologize. I formally apologize for my past transgressions.
It's kind of a big moment here.
Very proud of you.
You've had quite a few instances of soup slander on these airwaves, so it's a big step for you.
Yeah, I've said some pretty nasty things about soup in the past year. Just wanted to publicly address those.
Charles P says,
"Big of you." It's big of you.
Yeah. Also, Craig down here said Russ would make pastrami and cauliflower soup with an orange juice base.
Oh, yum!
Pastrami soup. Russ. Yum. Tommy says tomato soup. Tomato soup to me is good if you treat it like almost like a dipping sauce. Like if you're gonna have like grilled cheese, dip it in tomato soup. Now it's good, but on its own, it's not enough. Dude. It's not enough.
That's fair. That's fair.
Mac Jones is like a tomato soup. Just he's a clam. He's a New England clam chowder.
He's a buttered noodle, and I know that's not a soup, but it is, and Mac Jones is.
He is a butter noodle. I feel like he's like the equivalent of the Campbell's tomato soup, where it's just SpaghettiOs without the pasta.
Yeah, I can see that, dude. Doesn't get you fired up.
Doesn't.
Now that you said SpaghettiOs out loud, though, I'm not convinced he's not SpaghettiOs.
He could be SpaghettiOs.
Mac Jones pretty clearly seems like some SpaghettiOs. Maybe Zach Wilson is SpaghettiOs. Mommy makes them for him.
SpaghettiOs, when you eat them, you feel like a child. Like it just the taste is like I take one bite, I'm like, I'm a little baby. No.
No.
Big boy food. No, you definitely feel like you're like 5.
The next food bet we make should be chugging a can of SpaghettiOs straight from the can. Just open it up, chug it on stream. I want to vomit just thinking about it. That's
a pretty good bet though, because it's doable. Like it's totally
you can do
doable.
it. You totally do it, but it is disgusting.
You're not going to be injured by it.
This time in the morning, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's very unpleasant.
6:30 a.m. and I chug
straight
an
from the
entire
can.
can of SpaghettiOs.
And we also is it okay to eat raw?
Yeah, you can do it.
There are people that love that. There's a certain number of foods that are 100% the same, raw or not, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like a hot dog, like you're really not transforming it when you're cooking it. You just heat it up, but it's not the same cold versus warm, right?
No.
If your bacon is cured, you can just eat it straight from the wrapper without cooking it, which would be disgusting, but you could do it if you wanted to.
If milk is ultra pasteurized, it does not have to be put in the fridge. Or if you're Keith, you just don't put it in the fridge regardless.
he just leaves it out like hot sauce.
He said
he fixed his problem. He put pasteurized machine on his door on a piece of paper sign written in Sharpie so that whenever he puts the milk in there, it's pasteurized.
Oh,
genius.
It's just to turn on the lights.
And we got Joey, and he's like, good morning, Joey. So I feel the same about soup as JL does about Indiana Jones. I didn't know you love soup that much, Joey. It's good to know. Good to know. Got another soup brother in the crowd.
I'm always impressed. My wife loves soup as well. I'm always impressed by people that know a ton of soups, like Charles P. Hot potato soup. That sounds good.
Hot potato soup.
Joey, so you being a soup expert, give us some high-end soups. We've obviously just now struggled to come up with some. I would like to know. I would like to know what some artisanal soups are. So maybe I could up my soup game because I'm not opposed to it. I just haven't been exposed to enough of the classy stuff, I feel.
My go-to was the cream of crab soup. Excellent here. If you're in Maryland, definitely gotta try it out. And not vegetarian, try it out.
Not a crab.
Not a crab.
Not a crab. That'd probably be messed up.
Sounds about as Baltimore as it gets, dude. Is the old cream crab. Do they put Old Bay in there?
Yes, it's often has Old Bay in there. Yep. You ever had it, Coop?
So that's the thing is
you guys get some similar stuff. You get the lobster similar.
Well, that's the thing is it's where you are. So I feel like our lobster biscuit's probably the same as your cream of crab. I just Googled cream of crab and the first picture that comes up has a little tin of Old Bay in the picture.
Oh yeah.
So, yeah. So they know.
Tommy in here with the pasta vajoule. Oh
pasta
man,
vajoule
that is a dank soup. I'm not gonna lie. I get that most places I go that has it.
If I was down,
that sounds like something I make up. That I'm pretending to sound like I'm making up pastas, like a pasta fajoule. Like those are just noises that would come out as you're doing like a stereotypical Italian accent.
Yeah, when you're doing like a Sopranos, you're like bada bing, bada boom, pasta fajoule.
Pasta fajoule.
So, anyway, let's get back on some football. Let's get back.
Speaking of pasta fajoule,
that's enough soup talk.
Speaking of bean pasta,
I want to ask you guys: did you guys see what Brandon Aiyuk said?
I saw.
No. Oh, yeah, about the Eagles Z.
He kept going. He had a couple things to say.
My favorite one that he said was, he said, if I were to bet on this game, I would take everything that I own, get it in cash, and then put my money on the Kansas City Chiefs. Dang.
He's gassing up the Chiefs so hard.
Gassing them up. That's coming off That sounds a lot like a guy saying, had our quarterback not gotten hurt, we would have beaten the Eagles, right? That's what he's trying to say. I would have beaten the
100%.
That's what he's trying to sneak in there.
He earlier this week, or maybe it was late last week, he said, I don't know fully about that defense. They talk about them being a good defense. I'm not sure. I think this Kansas City pass game will expose what we thought we were going to expose before some unfortunate circumstances. They got extremely lucky.
Whoa.
So basically confirming what you just said there, Coop. He's coming out. He is there's some salt there, but he's sticking behind what he's saying. He didn't back down after the first one.
There was a third quote actually from him where he also added, "Wah."
Did you see Darius Slay respond?
Now what'd he say?
Where's the quote? I had it pulled up right here. He said, what kind of chance they going to get? The first time they dropped back, we're going to break their quarterback, both of them. So I don't know what chance they would have got, but shout out to him.
Whoa. Dang.
49ers quarterback?
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
what Darius Slay had to say about Brandon Aiyuk's criticisms of Philly.
But he says we're going to. Kind of like not in the past tense, but in the as if they're going to do it again.
I think with the rest of the sentence, maybe it was just how it came out. But he said the first time they dropped back past tense, we're going to break the quarterback. So the tenses don't match up, but the rest of the context makes it seem like he was talking about what they did to them, because he said, I don't know what chance they would have had.
I prefer to think of it as him like taking shots at Chad Henne, like being like, not just you, Mahomes, we're coming for both y'all.
Chad Henne's sitting at home. He hears the quote and he's like, "Uh-oh, watch out, Patrick." Oh no!
Oh no! They're coming
Gets
for
up
me.
and runs out the room. You don't see him again until after the Super Bowl.
Is the bad man gone?
Am I safe?
He's one of those guys that I'm shocked every time I realize how long he's been in the league.
Henne?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had that trivia question the other day where he was drafted by the Dolphins like a zillion years ago. But that's the thing in this league though, man. If you're good enough, like there's two types of backups in this league. There's backups that you actually expect to compete and potentially play, and then there's backups that are like pseudo coaches that run the scout team and can run the other team's offense in practice and be kind of a coach on the field. Those guys play forever. Like Charlie Batch played forever. If you can mimic other teams' offenses, you can play in this league for a long time. Kevin O'Connell never started at all for any team, and he was a backup in this league for a long time and then went right to being a coach. So if you can be that guy, then you can have a job for quite some time. And Chad Henne, I feel like, is that guy, right?
So I'm drafting Ditto 101 then in the Pokemon football draft.
Honestly, man,
Mimic all the defenses.
It's an amazing Ditto is an amazing pick. Those guys are more valuable than you think, I would say, especially if you can actually step in and run the offense if need be, if somebody gets hurt. That's obviously a huge part of it, but there's a reason the Patriots keep bringing Brian Hoyer back over and over and over again. And it's because
got a fun name. They like saying it.
Name. They're like, oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. You know?
Was it Brian Hoyer or was it Josh McCown that did
Josh McCown.
The helicopter in Cleveland?
That was McCown, dude.
That was McCown? Okay. I knew both of those guys served some time as the Cleveland Browns quarterback. I couldn't remember which one got helicopter.
You just got to remember. You just got to remember the awesome name of that play, and you won't forget it. The Black Hawk McCown. Black Hawk McCown.
That's so dumb.
That's
so
awful.
dumb. But
you're right. I will not forget that because Black Hawk McCoyer doesn't really work as well.
Nah, dude. Black Hawk McCown is that play. That play is burned in my brain after somebody said that.
Why do I want to say it like Jimmy Neutron's teacher? Black Hawk McCown.
Perfect.
We've talked about this before, but how did they get away? Like every other character in that show's a human, and then she's just a bird.
She's a bird.
like not even kind of disguised. Yeah, they put skin on her. Know what I mean? And she's wearing clothes, but she's fully a bird. Exactly. She is 100% a bird. Everyone else that's supposed to be human
Carl,
is fully human. Exactly.
Gene,
Jimmy,
human.
Human. Mr. Crocker, weird, but human. Everybody in that show. Robot dog, what he's supposed to be.
There's not one other one
There's not
never
one
really
other
watched
like
that show.
anthropomorphized humanoid animal creature hybrid. Like, what's her name?
Chimera.
Her name's probably something stupid like Miss Fowler or something like that.
I think
Nobody-
that sounds right. Actually, that sounds 100% right, Simon. You might have nailed that.
And no one ever addresses it.
It's Winfred Fowl. I was very close. Winfred Fowl. So Mrs. Fowl.
Mrs. Fowl. That's
They
hilarious.
gave her a
It's a
bird
good
name.
show. That movie slapped too. We're the kids in America. Whoa.
Also, Joey in here also saying one of the most important jobs of an NFL backup quarterback is to have a tremendous head of hair and be handsome. Charlie Whitehurst, Jimmy Garoppolo, Trey Lance, etc.
Mike White.
Trey Lance.
does he have
Dude,
it?
ouch.
Mike Glennon.
Like,
Trey Lance
got the-
is
got the
incredibly
strong neck.
handsome. That is a beautiful man.
I'm calling him a backup though.
Ah, there's
That's
the ouch. I thought you were
That's
calling him
ouch.
ugly.
no, he's a good looking dude. Dustin
got
in the chat
Dustin.
saying, "Sup, guys?"
Dustin.
Dustin, I gave you a shout out earlier. I said you and I were
You
talking
did.
about AJ Green. You'll have to go on YouTube, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and scroll back a little bit, maybe 20 minutes or so, and check out your little shout out there. So what up?
The like button unlocks the previous playback time.
Gotta
So you
hit
got to
the
do
like
that to
button.
hit. Yeah, it's
Gotta
the whole
hit the
thing.
subscribe button. Gotta take a screenshot of Simon's beautiful face, save it to your desktop. Once you do all that stuff, you can scroll back and see, when we name dropped you earlier.
I just realized that I forgot about the story. I put the story in here like 2 weeks ago and forgot about it. But I think it's worth bringing up. I don't know if
Do
you
it.
guys saw this on Twitter. Benjamin Watson replied to this tweet. It said, "Worst job interview question you've ever been asked." He said,
Did
"The Browns."
see this.
You did see this?
I saw this. This is wild.
It's crazy. He said, "The Browns asked me if I ever smoked weed. I said no. Then the interviewer grabbed my wrist as if he was feeling my pulse and asked me again louder. I was seated in a chair in the middle of a dark room with a spotlight on it. Front office stood in the shadows, mob style."
That is awesome.
What?
Welcome to
alert-
Cleveland, baby. That is wild. That is absolutely
They
wild.
hit him with the interrogation setup. The
They hit him with
interrogation
the-
room.
They hit him with the "You on drugs?"
He feels his pulse and yells at him louder. "Oh, you're on drugs!"
He looks over
Sorry, I
at
couldn't
the
hear. Couldn't feel your pulse over me yelling.
he looks over at the owner, and they just like shine the light in his eyes, and they're like, "Look over here."
He screams
Don't look at
yes.
them.
He screams yes the second time because he's pretty sure he just got in trouble for saying no. Because who on earth just grabs someone's wrist in a dimly lit room with no prior warning during a job interview?
They couldn't afford a two-way mirror, so it's just a window.
Yeah, just Jimmy Haslam in the corner, like with a cape over his face.
And it's unfortunate that it looked mob style with everyone standing in the corner. It was actually just the one room they had available that day, and those were all the people whose office it usually was. And they're just like standing in the corner waiting for the
Being
room to
polite.
be available. Yeah, exactly. They're just trying to be quiet in the corner. Those weren't clipboards. Those were just like their laptops. They're just like holding
He's
their
like, and it
things.
smelled like tuna sandwich.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that like they were the ones that smoked weed earlier that day, so they're just like
they were asked. They
um,
were looking for some.
they're just like, yeah, that weed smells definitely him.
It smells definitely him.
It's gotta be Ben. It's definitely not us, the accountants.
They ask everyone until someone says yes, and they like look around. They're like, "I told you guys it wasn't me. You never said that." Well, now I am.
Right? They're like Ben. they're
Lawyer.
like, "You smoke weed?" He's like, "No." He's like, "Well, it smells like weed in here." And then they just hear like the crunch. They hear like a crunch, and they look over, and the dude's eating like Doritos in the corner. He's like, "Yeah,
Don't mind me.
gotta be him."
That's wild. I'm trying to imagine being in that situation as like take NFL out of it and just assume a job interview. Imagine the last time you were at a job
I would laugh
interview.
so hard. I would just laugh.
Like, what if you walked in, even take the physical like touching out of it, just the room they put you in, you're in a chair in the center of a dimly lit room with a spotlight on you. Like, that's absurd. That's some movie shit. I don't think they even do
that's
that
a story.
in real life. Like, they don't do that in police stations.
Buckle up.
Like-
you got a story on your hands.
My first job out of college was like mortgage sales, and my boss, like this sales guy, like if he asked you, like, "Do you ever smoke weed?" If you said no, he'd probably just be like, "Nerd, you can't work here." Like the complete opposite of what.
It's a misdirect every time.
Yeah, this guy would have been like, he was such a bro. He'd be like, how many beers can you drink? And if you said less than 10, he'd be like, nah, you're not gonna fit in here.
I hate
Oh
whenever
my God.
interviewers like try to trick you. I remember I interviewed for an internship in college, and the guy said to me, he goes, well, what we do here is pretty boring. You all right with that? What the hell am I supposed to say to that? Like, yeah, I love boring work, and lie, or be like, nah, actually, that sounds awful. I'll just come collect a paycheck and then leave immediately with no prospect of ever taking a job here. Like, you're just setting me up to have to lie to you in that regard.
I love interviewers who don't realize that like it's also an interview for them. Because I had a similar experience at Google where I was like talking to one of their engineers who was interviewing me. I was like, yeah, what's your favorite project you've ever worked on? She's like, favorite project? I was like, yeah, like one you really enjoyed or liked or are proud of. She's like, she like couldn't think of anything. I was like, oh God, not a single thing comes to mind. Like that's alarming. Come on.
I haven't worked on anything in the 4 years I've been here.
I just came out of a coma.
I just wake up, I get my breakfast bowl, I go to the nap nook, I
The
work
nap
out in the
nook.
gym, I play Guitar Hero with our corporate sponsors for 3 hours, I go to 4 meetings, I get my dinner, I go home every day for 4
Every
years.
day.
At
Back
2
and
o'clock.
forth.
Sometimes I see those TikToks of like the Google headquarters where people are working, and I'm sitting there thinking, they're just trying to get you to never leave. Know what I mean? Like if you've got everything there, like everything you can eat, like, yeah, that sounds cool, but how about a beanbag at home instead of in the office? I'll just sit in there at the end of the day instead of spending an hour in the middle of the day sitting in the office so I can quickly get back to my desk.
My buddy works at a place like that. It's called HubSpot in Boston. And like
HubSpot. I know HubSpot.
HubSpot. You know the HubSpot, dude. And like when we would get like Celtics tickets or Bruins tickets, we would go into his work and drink beers at his work and then go to the game. Like that's the kind of place that they have there. It's the same thing where they're like, why would you go home? We have beers and a pool table. And like my buddy would just go home, and then when it was time to like pregame or whatever, we would go to his office. So that didn't quite work there. I don't work there, but I had enough beers from there to be a part-time employee at least.
Beautiful. You know what? You're earning your paycheck somehow. Guys,
Yeah.
coming up, we are going to solve the daily Weddle, and we've got some games coming up today as well. We're going to play some vague descriptions, some master debaters, and some Quotey McQuote face as well. Then we're going to hit you with some knowledge that we've learned throughout the past week in the Moreau You Know. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2-conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2-conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We have these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like,
How dare you?
he smacked the globe. He was
I'm
like, what
doing
do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is
Algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad. Ray, I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like, it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But, Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day, so they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such a thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass.
Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
Hogs up, baby. Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Jill had to go finish milking that sheep I was trying to milk earlier, Coop. It was a little unruly, wanted to give it a break, but I couldn't get it done. So JL's finishing that job for me. But while we're waiting for him, I figured you and I could try to continue our Weddle streak that we have going. We have yet to lose one on the show. We're getting them every day. Yesterday in 3*4 in parentheses because we accidentally said Trey McKitty instead of Trey McBride, but we still got it. You ready to do it today?
Let's do it, dude. Fell for the old trade trap yesterday. Won't happen again today.
Everybody watching, if you want to play along with us, you can go to weddlegame.com. This is a game a lot like Wordle or any of those popular word games where we're going to guess an NFL player. It's going to tell us some information that is incorrect or correct about it. And we try to make another guess based on that. Coop, I decided the player we were starting with yesterday. Which player do you want to start with today?
I like Tommy's suggestion today. He says, go with the Waddle and the Weddle. So why don't we start with Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle. Okay. We know his division now, or his conference, but not his division. He is in the AFC, our player, but not in the AFC East. They do not play wide receiver. They're shorter than 5'10", but close to 5'10". They're older than 24, and their number is higher than 17. So this leads me to believe it's a running back, right?
Yeah, it's almost certainly a running back. I don't know if there's any tight ends that are shorter than 5'10". And
I don't think so.
The only quarterback shorter is Kyler, and he's in the NFC.
And he is 5'10", right? Listed, like his officially listed height, I think is 5'10".
Yeah, which means he's shorter than 5'10". If that's the officially listed height for him is, then there's no way he's 5'10".
So we need a non-AFC East running back that's older than 24, 26 or older, or no, 27 or older in 5'8" or 5'9".
27 or older? Wow. So 27 or older means
how old is Jerick McKinnon?
He's like 29.
You want to try?
Yeah, let's try McKinnon.
Because he's smaller too, right?
Yes, he's very strong.
Well, we are close on that one. AFC West is correct. Running back is correct. Height is correct, and then the age is close. The number, I knew he was number 1, and that would have made him wrong, but that's okay. We got some good information. He's younger than 30, but so he's 28 or 29. A running back in the AFC West that is 5'9".
So had we thought a little more about this and noticed the number, we might have got this in 2.
I think
if we had gone with Austin Eckler.
Austin Eckler. Final answer. You think that's it?
That's what I think it is. Not it. Okay.
He's 5'10", not 5'9", and he's 27, so not quite old enough. Is Melvin Gordon Melvin Gordon.
Melvin.
I see
Yeah.
FYF in the chat guessing Justin Jackson as well. Melvin Gordon, the only thing
Justin
I can't think
Jackson
of is his number.
Justin Jackson actually ended up on the Lions most recently. So he's an NFC player. They go by what team you were most recently on. So he left the Chargers, went to the Lions somewhere during the season this year. So he would not count for the Chargers. He's also not the player's not on the Chiefs or the Chargers. So he has to be on either the Broncos or the other or the Raiders.
What about Gordon? You think?
Yeah, I think that's a good guess.
Melvin Gordon, not correct. He's too tall and his number's too high.
But the right age.
So 29. So we have everything except for the number. An AFC West running back that is 5'9", 29 years old. The number is lower than 30, but higher than 17. And they're not on the Broncos. Or no.
So they're apparently Melvin got picked up. So still could be a play from the Broncos. But I don't think the Broncos. Oh, you know who it could be? How old's Latavius Murray?
He's older. Is he 30 though? He may already be 30. I always think running backs are older than they are, I feel like. You know what I mean? Like I lump them up a couple years. He's probably 28, 29. Oh,
he's older. He's older than that. I don't think it's Murray. He's older than 30. He's actually like real old, I want to say.
Royce Freeman isn't old enough, I don't think, and he's not there anymore. He's not in and it's on the Broncos or on the Raiders.
It could be could be like Brandon Bolden or something.
Is Amir Abdullah still on the Raiders?
Amir Abdullah could be it. I think it's probably Bolden or Abdullah.
Who do you want to go with?
Let's go with.
Oh, I see Tommy said Amir Abdullah in the chat as well.
Let's do Amir Abdullah then. Let's do Tommy's guess.
Let's do Amir Abdullah. That is correct. It is Amir Abdullah. Ooh, today's was a little bit tricky getting there. Nice job in the chat, Tommy.
Those little crafty devils. Yeah, that was a tough one. Latavius Murray is.
He's old, right?
I guess how old he is.
33.
33 years old. I wouldn't have guessed 33. The more I thought about it, I was like, okay, yeah, he's older, but 33, man, that's ancient for a running back.
I read your good Lord to perfection. I was trying to eke an age out of there. He is old. Would have been like 31. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, it's got to be higher than 31. 32 wouldn't have been that exasperated, but he didn't sound like breaking records shocked.
How old is this? Oh, Lordy.
Depends what context. Are we talking about a kindergartner or an NFL player?
We're talking about a running back. If I had looked at Latavius Murray's age and said, oh, Lordy, how old would you have thought he was?
36.
Yeah, I think that's right.
I knew it.
Latavius Murray
said 83.
Oh, Lord. Latavius Murray, I think, is a guy that is a very likely candidate for them to bring back to the Broncos. That's twofold. One, that Javonte Williams, this injury he has is not your run-of-the-mill ACL, unfortunately. He also tore his PCL and his MCL. So he is at risk of not even being ready to start the season. So that's pretty dangerous. Chase Edmonds, they can keep him, but they could cut him with no dead cap and $6 million in savings. So he's a potential cap casualty. Latavius Murray played with the team last year. He's a free agent. And he also famously did multiple stints with Sean Payton over with the New Orleans Saints. So you got a guy who just played with this team. He's familiar with the new coach that's coming in, and he's a free agent. I mean, it makes all the sense in the world for them to bring Latavius Murray back.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. And he was fine for them this year. He does the role that they need him to fill on that team, and they're waiting for Javonte Williams. That's the insert running back there. Yeah. So why go pay a guy a ton of money? Why go pay a guy a ton of money or use your draft capital on another running back?
I think they could get away. So if Javonte Williams isn't ready to start the season, they can get away with using Latavius Murray on early downs, Chase Edmonds on pass downs, and then
they trade for Alvin Kamara.
Then you trade for Alvin Kamara and Taysom Hill, right? And Michael Thomas,
Mark Ingram,
and Michael Thomas and Mark Ingram, and then and Pierre Thomas, and then you just run those Saints offenses of yesteryear.
If Taysom Hill ends up on the Broncos next season, I will
Yes.
never call Sean Payton
Yes.
anything but Daddy Sean ever again. Like
Yes.
ever again. He will forever be Daddy Sean, because if Daddy Sean brings his little baby Taysom over to Denver, then
Baby
it's
Taysom.
official, locked in.
It would be amazing. I mean, some of the guys that John Payton worked with are likely available via trade if they wanted to do that. I mean, would it be that hard to bring back his boy Brandon Cooks?
I mean,
No, I don't think it'd be hard at all.
He's available. He's not playing on the Texans next year.
Michael Thomas?
Is he still in the league?
He is, I think. But the thing is, Cortland Sutton, if you're going to try and find a guy that's as similar to Michael Thomas as possible, Cortland Sutton was a second-round pick. He's also 6'3". He's also like 215 pounds. He also ran like a 4.57. Like, I don't think it gets much closer in terms of that type of guy. Like, they're physically very similar players.
He's just missing a cell phone end zone celebration, then they're practically the same.
That's all they need, dude. That's all they need.
Bango.
Gonna get that locked up.
That's really all that's missing. Although I think that might have been Joe Horn that did that.
Oh, the original one.
Oh, did Michael Thomas do it too?
Michael Thomas did it.
Yeah, it's like an homage to him.
Oh, I love that.
But then he got fined.
Of course, naturally, dude. But it's
Can't
worth
be
it.
using props.
It is one of the
Ooh,
it is
he
one
did
of the
do it. That's
go-to,
cool.
like, whenever I think of the iconic touchdown celebrations, I know that was a recreation, but it's one of the ones from like my NFL watching days that I think of. But if 2022 NFL season brought us one thing, it is my new favorite touchdown celebration. I've said it once, I've said it twice, I'm going to say it a million times. But Devonta Smith pulling the freaking ski mask over, kicking the door down, and robbing the Salvation Army bucket. Like, good luck topping that. Like, it's going to be another 10, 15 years before that one gets replaced, I think.
It might be my all-time favorite. It might be. And that it takes a
my
lot.
number one.
I'm such a stickler. I don't like change. So for me to have a new favorite touchdown celebration, that takes a lot. But he did it, man. I think it was the ski mask.
It was like the ski mask and the kicking down of the door just really sold because there were other routes to go about that, right? And then they just thought of all the details. They had people there that he was putting it into the bags that were running away with it. Like, it was premeditated, it was well orchestrated, and it was well executed. It had everything you needed.
It was good, dude.
And it made a mockery of a tradition important to their rivals, right? So you add that on top of it. Like, it's a tradition very important to their number one rivals, and they just mocked it.
Pouring a little paprika in that open wound.
Yeah.
It's always nice.
Smith. Thank you.
Cowboys are kind of the Cowboys have been like, if you think about some of the greatest celebrations, the Cowboys have been on the wrong end of multiple of them. Like the TO going out to the star in the middle. And do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
The TO star celebration. That's another good one.
Well, everyone's going to be watching you when you're playing America's team, right? It's your time to show up.
America's team. The Patriots are America's team. There's nothing more patriotic than
America's
Patriots.
team. Except for the Bills. They're Canada's team now.
Jaguars are kind of London's team.
Yeah. Raiders are kind of Mexico City's team.
That's true. That's kind of tight, though. I like that.
It is what it is. All right, guys, I want to get into a short game here. It's a new game. It'll be a little fun. It'll be a little fun. It's called Word Association Circle. It's very simple. I'm going to start with a word of the day. The word of the day today is Super Bowl. So we're going to go in a circle. You gotta say the first word that comes to your mind based off the previous word said by the person before you. So it's the first word that comes to your mind, whatever that is. All right? Fair enough?
So you say like a little sentence, and then whatever the last word of your sentence is.
No, one word.
Oh,
one word. Yeah. So the word of the day today is Super Bowl, and the word Super Bowl makes me think of cereal. So, Coop,
killer.
What cereal make you think of?
Killer.
Killer makes me think of bee.
Bee makes me think of hive.
Hive makes me think of tree.
Bark.
Robert Woods.
Little Red Riding Hood.
The Big Bad Wolf.
Grandma.
Grandpa.
Leather.
Cowboy.
Cowboy boots.
Spurs.
Popovich.
Papa John's.
Pizza.
Peyton.
Eli.
Manning.
Archie.
Bunker.
World War I.
World War II.
World War champs. USA. USA. USA.
I think we just won that game, boys.
All right.
We just kept inching closer to like it would be like leather. Jail would be like pigskin, and Coop would be like deep fried bacon from the county fair. Like we'd be like inching closer to football or back towards Super Bowl, and Coop would be like, yeah, and how about Papa John himself?
Popovich, Papa John.
That game, that's how we should play that game. That game we play until it culminates in a USA chant. And that's when the game,
whatever happens as long as we end up at USA.
That's when the game is over, right? I think that's a good way to play that one. But yeah, that's an interesting game.
The Popovich themed taco shop near my house just shut down. There was a Popovich themed taco shop with a giant mural of Greg Popovich painted on this bright pink house that sold tacos out of their side window. And then all of a sudden I drive by. The house is no longer pink with a mural of Greg Popovich on it. Just a plain old white house. Sign is gone.
Regular?
Just disappeared. It's just a regular house. It started like, it was one of those moments where like it happened so fast. The sign was gone. The window was gone. There was no evidence of Big Papa's Tacos ever being there. And I never went. And it was always like this weird looking building anyways, where I was like, was that always there? Was it always just a white house? And I imagined Big Papa's Tacos. Does Big Papa's Tacos only appear to those who deserve it? And I've now lost my status as someone in San Antonio that deserves Big Papa's Taco.
That's deep.
Wow. They just kind of rogue pulled you. It says right here that is it the one on the Pan Am Expressway?
No, it's a different one.
How many Big Papa's Tacos?
Dox
are
him.
there?
Yeah, I'm
Tell
just
everybody where he lives.
Yeah, it'll be a different one than the one you just said, Coop. If it says it's open, then it's honestly probably a different one because the one I was surely closed.
I was trying to bring you hope because this one says temporarily closed.
Oh, this one it is permanently closed. It is gone forever.
That's what they said about the Smoothie King in Fells Point, and then it permanently closed. So
what about the freaking pita pit at Clemson? The entire 5 years.
Forgot that
5 years that Jail and I were there. If you average our time spent at Clemson, the pita pit was had a sign on the window that said "opening soon."
Nobody knows what a pita
all the
pit
chairs.
is.
It's like a Moe's but for a pita. It's like a Subway but for a pita. But the entire place was set up. There were chairs, booths, bar, windows, signs, displays, everything. But it just always said "opening soon" for 4-5 years. Never actually opened.
Just teasing you. You just look
I feel
in.
like it opened at one point. I remember eating it at one point.
Did it?
I think.
Huh. Maybe I just always went after it was closed.
Like, what the hell is happening
They
here?
were closed 100% of the time at 2 a.m.
I just looked it up. It says permanently closed now. So.
Pita pit? Damn.
Yeah.
All right.
They never got it done, dude. It's like all these places they're just fake places following Simon around to mess with him. They never actually open.
There was a day that my girlfriend and I tried to go to a restaurant that I loved, showed up, it was permanently closed. But I was like, okay, well, we're near another restaurant that I love. Show up, it was permanently closed twice in a row in South Carolina. Wings and Wedgies and then PDQ. Both of them closed permanently.
I'm just gonna like pay someone to go around Simon's like neighborhood, putting up signs for like places for food that he loves that'll never actually exist, just to like mess with him, like, you know, Valentine's hot sauce parlor, or whatever. What's that hot sauce do?
Yeah, no, you nailed it. That was it.
Yeah, that was
Valentine's Day.
And
hot
then
sauce.
and then it's just like Simon's like, oh, there's this new place coming, and he's just telling Leanne about it for weeks and weeks, and then it just
It just never shows.
and then I'll just pay that guy
You should
another
just start to take out billboards around Simon's house.
coming
Just to
soon.
mess with him.
and
Fantasy football conference coming soon.
I like
You
that
get him
the
a ticket
word-
and everything.
the word you chose for the place where one goes to enjoy hot sauce is a hot sauce parlor.
Hot sauce parlor. Yeah.
What I was trying to think of what it would be, like a
Evan,
saloon, a
take a
saloon,
seat.
A hot sauce saloon.
Choose your style.
a surveyor with fine hot sauces, a purveyor.
A surveyor of fine hot sauce.
Yeah, he comes by with a clipboard. And he's like, "This looks all right."
A sauce sommelier.
Maybe we'll
That was
mess
a
with
pretty good one, Jay.
mess with Simon's dad and do the same thing with like a lima bean restaurant.
Simon's like, no, don't do it. Don't fall for it.
Don't fall for
Trust me.
You find out when my dad's coming in town and just set up signs all over the place.
We have
Specials.
to. Shows up. He's like, we have to go.
Lima beans for Jan.
You get a job with Netflix as a content producer and come up with a vegetable-based restaurant series and do a whole episode on the new Lima Bean restaurant in San Antonio.
Somehow recruit John. What's his name? John Favreau. It's the guy
Oh.
that I'm Happy from MCU. That actor who does the other cookie show on Netflix.
John.
Nailed that joke.
Jay Leno.
Jay Leno.
Is that who you're thinking
It is
of? John
Jay Leno.
Travolta.
That's
could've-
it. John Travolta.
You could have just gone Guy Fieri. Would have been it.
I could have.
You went too deep. You went deep.
I feel like Joey's mentioned that guy to me like 6 times this week.
Guy Fieri or the
Regular.
guy who plays Happy?
The guy who plays Happy.
If we say them too many times in the same sentence, next time we turn on the Avengers, Guy Fieri's going to suddenly be happy. In this movie. We're going to like accidentally get the universes
Would that have
crossed.
been better?
Oh, it is John Favreau. Like that.
John Favreau is right.
John Favreau is right. I didn't think it was right though, because he's like a famous director. Like he has. So when you said Favreau, I was like, "There's no way it's the same guy. Like he doesn't act, but he does act." But like John Favreau is the guy that didn't he write? Didn't he produce The Mandalorian? And Simon, I'm pretty sure John Favreau is the guy that also produced the animated show that you were talking about the other day.
I've never talked about an animated show in my life,
Solar,
so you must be mistaken.
Animated Star Wars show.
Opposites.
Oh, Star Wars Clone
Oh.
Wars?
Oh, cool.
I'm pretty sure John Favreau is the guy behind Clone Wars too.
I do not know. He portrayed a character in Clone Wars.
Who? Oh, Dave Filoni is the guy that did that. Okay.
Same guy,
I
John.
always mix up John Favreau and Dave Filoni.
So John Favreau is the Mandalorian guy, not
I didn't know that he directed Mandalorian. That's sweet.
produced it. Yeah. Yeah. Pretty cool. So anyway,
Also,
we'll
Tim
get
said
him.
you mean the guy that directed Elf.
Ah, yes.
Did he direct Elf?
Who knows?
Yes.
John Favreau, director of Elf.
I've never once thought to look up who directed Elf.
Why not?
Like I don't know. Questions never popped in my head.
He did not direct Elf, dude. What? Okay. Enough.
Enough.
John Favreau directed no Christmas movies.
I will not stand for any more of this. All right, you guys
Did
ready
not.
to play
Oh
some
no, wait.
big
Sorry, he did direct Elf.
Nip snaps, nip snaps.
All right,
nip,
let's
snap.
move on. Let's move on.
Let's do it, guys. I think we got some games coming up. Which game we got first, John Luke?
Vague descriptions.
Oh yeah, I love this one because sometimes it works, and sometimes your brain you're just sitting there going, "Work, do it."
Work better.
Why don't we play a guess what things John Favreau did and didn't direct?
I go first.
God.
Elf did.
Yeah, that we've confirmed. That's a confirmed did.
Schindler's
Alien-
List did not.
Alien 4.
Did not.
Oh, no.
We'll have to look it up. Iron Man
Shark
3
did not. Oh, I thought we could just name whatever we wanted and say whether he did or
Shark
didn't
Tales is
direct
awesome.
it.
He did direct Shark Tales.
Shark Tale slap. It was
Wait,
good.
did he really? You're
No.
kidding, right? Oh,
No, he
okay.
didn't. Shark Tales was good though. Don't get it twisted.
Yeah,
Sorry if we
gotta
just
take it to
ruined
the car
your,
wash.
your Shark Tales vague description, JL.
Yeah, damn it. Gotta come up with a new one. Simon, you want to go over the rules of this one?
Yeah, let's hit it. Guys, in this game, Coop and I are going to be going head-to-head in a competition where we are trying to guess what John Luke is describing with a very vague description and a category. He may say something like, the category is football, and then give me a very vague description of a football, like a leather spheroid. I have to try to figure out what he's talking about, given the category and the clue. If I get it, I'm going to get a point. If I don't, my opponents can have the opportunity to steal. We'll alternate who's going first and who has the steal opportunity. And we'll go until we run out of prompts or run out of time, at which point whoever has more points is the champion of vague descriptions today.
Beautiful.
Let's
All
do
right,
it.
Simon, you are going first in our game of vague descriptions today.
And let me close the chat. And that's a reminder, everybody in the chat, play along with us.
All right, Simon. Your category is football.
Okay.
And your vague description is, these folks are often in the background despite their name. And before you guess, Simon, play along in the chat. We love it. We love it when you play along. Throw your guesses in the chat. These guys are going to close their chats so they don't see it. You're not going to sully the game. We're going to praise you if you get it right. We're going to make fun if you get it wrong. That's how it goes. All right, Simon. These folks are often in the background despite their name.
These folks are often in the background despite their name. So I'm thinking back, front, the front, the front, the front. I'm seeing if I say it enough times, if a football word will come to mind with the word front in it. The beginning, the front lines, the front guy, the front back. No, nothing is coming to me. So let's just come up with a word here. The folks that are in the background, despite their name. I don't know. The offensive line.
The offensive is in loop. You have an opportunity to steal this. What's your guess?
Let me say front 11 times in a row. See if I can figure this out.
Front.
I quite enjoyed it.
The front.
Kind of like poetry.
It's actually my new slam poem is what that was.
That reminded me of Jonah Hill's character in 22 Jump Street. he's like the Maya Angelou of open mic night.
I don't.
Cynthia.
The front.
Something's
so
there.
often in the background, despite their name. These guys I don't know. How about the fullback?
Fullback is incorrect. I will give you guys a chance of redemption here. Simon, you got one more chance.
I'm trying to go a different route now. Maybe not front, but like in the background. Maybe not a player. Maybe like a coach or something along those lines. Maybe it's like the front guy. Let's go with the equipment manager.
The equipment manager is incorrect. Coop.
Dude, I'm not even kidding. The 30th time that you said front, I figured it out. I swear to God, you said the word front again, and I got it.
Is it the front office?
It's the front office.
It's the front office. That is correct, Coop.
Yeah, the 31st time I said front, I got it.
I swear to God, the moment you said front, I was like, that's it. Once I said front back to you, then you got it too, right?
I just had to hear someone else say it.
I should hear you say it. It had to go back to me, then back to you to say it again.
Yo, Nick in the chat. Our guy Nick said cheerleaders, which is such a good answer.
That should be
such
half
a good
a point.
answer. It is unfortunately incorrect in this situation, but it would apply. The description applies. So well done, Nick.
Well, did you guys see? Speaking of cheerleaders, you saw a picture of Stephon Diggs, like hanging behind all the cheerleaders' butts. What was the context of that picture?
No, I did not see that picture.
Type in cheerleaders Diggs, and there's a picture of him just like legit standing behind the cheerleaders, like with his face like this far away from a chick's butt at the Pro Bowl, which is such a.
I find the whole cheerleader thing very weird. To be honest, maybe that's a hot. I'm gonna say that for unpopular opinions. Actually, now that I think about it,
that is a good one.
To me, it looks like he's trying to photobomb, like, because there's another picture a little bit later where his head is clearly in between two of the girls, like trying to get his head in there, and it looks like they're lined up for a picture. So it looks like maybe he's trying to sneak his face in there, and I'm sure being all playful. I don't know though. Well,
he might have been hiding. I think he was hiding behind them or something. But
it also could be hiding. It looks like hiding potentially as well.
Where I usually think to hide
behind the cheerleaders,
behind the very thin cheerleaders, as a giant football player. All right, Scoop, you got that point. So you are ahead here. You stole Simon's point on this one.
He stole it.
But this next one is yours, Scoop.
All right.
Your category is sport. Your vague description is athletes litter, then unlitter, before littering again in a seemingly Sisyphean struggle.
Athletes litter, unlitter, litter again. Sisyphean struggle.
Your category is sport. The vague description is athletes litter, then unlitter, before littering again in a seemingly Sisyphean struggle.
Can I get a definition of Sisyphean?
Yes, is that fair? Simon, what do you think?
Without knowing, I mean, the rest of the clue basically describes what is the Sisyphean struggle. Know what I mean? Like, if you don't know the tale of Sisyphus, like it's fine to explain it because the rest of the prompt is basically describing the struggle. That's just adding a length of time to it, right?
Was it like a book?
It's like a Greek tale of a guy who pushes a rock up a mountain, and then it only like he's cursed to push a rock up a mountain, and then for it to just go back down, he has got to go back down, push it back up again.
Oh,
so often described to
that stinks.
Yeah.
Litter, unlitter. I'm gonna go with sports with the littering. How about baseball?
Baseball is incorrect. Simon, you have the opportunity to steal this point. What do you think this is?
I'm very, very unsure of this one. I'm assuming like an outdoor sport, most likely, because we're littering, and littering I feel like is usually considered outdoors, and something that involves something hitting the ground and then being picked up, and then hitting the ground again, and then being picked up, and then hitting the ground again, and then being picked up. Basketball.
Basketball is incorrect.
The dribbling? That's littering and unlittering.
She's right. He's right, you know.
It's true.
But in baseball, you're also kind of hitting the ball and littering it and then picking it up again.
I feel like by that definition, anything that would leave your touch would then be littering. Like putting your phone down on the table, littering.
Yeah. Straight to jail.
Straight to jail.
The right way. Okay.
Maybe this will help. Front.
Front.
Oh yeah. Give me
front.
Give me it a little differently though.
Front.
Okay.
How many sports are there? There's a lot of sports.
There is.
I can't get away from the whole anything is littering, dude.
What's it gonna be, Coop?
Then you pick it back up. That's the next part. So you litter and you pick it up.
They're really tempting us to sing some Chumbawamba today.
Is it frisbee golf?
No.
Just
Simon,
chucking
your last chance.
trash.
I don't freaking know. Is this litter and then unlitter? Maybe a sport played with something that's not a ball, because dropping a ball would not be littering. What's a sport that puts all sorts of like gross stuff on the ground? Horses poop, so maybe polo.
Please tell me that's it.
I did not expect you to say polo there for some reason. Just horses poop, so I don't know. Polo. Polo is incorrect.
Damn it.
Correct answer. And no one in the chat got this. We got some bowling. We got bowling from Ladarius. What up, Ladarius? We got bowling from Tim. Golf from Nick. Golf's a really
Bowling's
good guess.
a great one.
The answer is fishing. Fishing.
What are you littering when you fish?
Your
The
lure,
fish-
it's
the
the
fish
casting,
that-
the process. You're tossing these plastics into water.
Yeah.
Typically, and it's fishing is often described as very Sisyphusian,
Yes,
It is.
more than other sports.
You do
I
catch
agree
and
with you.
release. Fishing's pretty mean, I feel.
Yeah, it's kind of a messed up sport when you think
Kind of
about
messed
it.
up, dude. You know, you're just like abducting these creatures like alien style, and nobody believes them when they go back. They're like, yeah, right, Ned. The aliens game, you know what I mean? Like,
It's just super weird, but I was laying in bed last night just thinking about how the whole worm process is kind of fucked or messed up about fishing. Like you just slice this worm in half and then put it on a hook and throw it in the water. Like
Yeah, and
that's
if
messed
it's
up.
too big, you're just like, yeah, just chop it. Or like,
Just
oh,
throw
I
it
don't have
out.
a knife. Just let me
Right.
just
I'm-
rip this and stick it on
It's
there.
like, oh god.
I'm gonna use this animal I'm gonna hurt this animal to hurt this other animal.
Oh my god, Tim's a Sisyphusian. Oh, that would have been a dead giveaway, but I'm mad. It was right there and I didn't see it.
I like that.
That's good. Well
I
done.
like that.
Nobody's gonna get points on that one. It's a good try though, guys.
Okay, that's okay. The lead didn't grow for Coop. I didn't come back, but I'm still in this.
Try it.
You are still in this, and Simon, this next one is yours. It's 1-0. Your category is TV, and your vague description is the weather in a specific place.
The weather in a specific place, and it is TV is the category. Oh, it's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Well
very
done,
good.
Simon. That's going to get you a point here, bringing you up to
Yeah.
high place. High place.
Excellent show.
I never really got into it, but I feel like all of my friends have always loved it. So
It's a good show. It's a hard watch. Like it is a genuine hard watch sometimes, but it's a really good show.
It's like if you take the premise of Seinfeld, where all the characters are kind of bad people, so they get themselves into bad
and
situations,
then you place them in Philadelphia.
and then you place them in
Just
Philadelphia and put
Cesspool.
their bad behavior on steroids. That's basically what Always Sunny is. Just bad people putting themselves in bad situations.
I
which
saw
is inherently funny.
I saw a compilation of Philly fans being asked where San Francisco was from 2 weekends ago's games, and it was one of the funniest videos I've ever seen. I'm convinced everybody in Philadelphia is a movie character at this point, just based on the videos I'm seeing of all these Eagles fans. Like every answer is a creative and never before said way to answer the question, where is San Francisco?
Nobody was like California.
Yeah, no one just said California. Not a single one of them.
That's great.
Wild. All right, guys, the game is tied up here. Dustin said, can you bonk JL for that prompt? No, you can absolutely not.
No, you may not.
No, you may
For the
not. Dustin. Thank you for
Sisyphusian or
asking.
for
Thank you for
the
asking.
weather one?
That's a good question. I'm assuming the fishing one.
Because either way, the answer is no.
Yeah, either way, the answer is no. But if it was the weather one, then you can bonk Keith. That is allowed. That is allowed. All right, guys. Coop, this next one's yours. Your category is
Football.
it's TV. It's TV. And the vague description is man works his dream job at his favorite restaurant.
Dream job.
Oh, I got it. I'm feeling pretty good about this one.
Man works his dream job at his favorite restaurant.
What are you thinking?
Thinking about TVs and restaurants. Dream job at favorite restaurant. Is this the problem I'm running into is this character isn't a man as much as he is a sponge. But I keep thinking about SpongeBob working at the Krabby Patty. So give me SpongeBob SquarePants.
SpongeBob SquarePants is absolutely correct.
Yeah.
I want to raise a point of contention here.
It's a
He
crusty
said
crab. It's not a
SpongeBob
Krabby
worked at the
Patty.
Krabby Patty, and he's
Yeah.
still going to
Yeah.
get that point for
Sorry.
aggressive SpongeBob.
No, yeah.
Why wouldn't I? My guess was my official guess was SpongeBob SquarePants. So how would I not get the point, Simon?
Oh, sorry. It was just the
Sorry.
unspoken rule that applies to all games of disrespecting the Krusty Krab is an automatic grounds for dismissal. Sorry, that's my bad. I wasn't operating within the rules of the game. It was the rules of life.
And as we established well over 100 episodes ago, the penalty for that is that I have to sing the Krusty Krab pizza song. Krusty Krab pizza is the pizza for you and me.
Get that stuck in your head the rest of the day.
Krusty Krab is
Krusty Krab
pizza for you and
so good. God, why is SpongeBob so good?
Why is so good? Is that the same episode where he rides the rock?
And I think it's the same episode where he goes, East? I thought you said West.
Dude, that's got to be a top 10 episode, right?
That's a good one.
It's a pretty good one. And driving the rock. Like, he's just like, it just works.
It's a rock.
I was having a conversation with my cousin the other day. I casually brought up, I was like, yeah, this situation's kind of like, that SpongeBob episode where he gets the big block of marble. He just hits it once and it just turns into a perfect statue. I was like,
taste the marble.
Taste the marble. We are so dumb. All right, Coop, that one was yours. You got that correct. That brings the score to 2-1. You're in the lead. Simon, this next one's yours. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, your category is football. And your vague description is a Lawn's New Year's resolution.
A Lawn's New Year
resolution? A Lawn, LAWN.
A Lawn's New Year resolution. A Lawn's New Year resolution, something with grass or turf. Mow my lawn. I'm trying to just do some word association here real quick.
Front
office. Front. So a Lawn's New Year's resolution are the words that you're trying to get me to guess as the actual answer, and just understand what I'm saying instead of the words I said there. I'm going to go with turf toe.
Turf toe is incorrect, Simon. I'm sorry. Coop.
No way.
Yeah, opportunity to steal here.
Lawn's New Year resolution. Front. Lawn's New Year resolution. And it's football related. Is it to turn over a new leaf?
It is not turn over a new leaf. Simon, you want to take one more chance?
Yeah, sure. Is this trying to think of more gardening words? Mowing, edging. Is this edging the quarterback?
This is not edging the quarterback, it turns out. Coop, you want to take one more shot?
10-yard penalty. Edging the quarterback.
I hope the answer.
Cut that out.
I hope the answer isn't just turnover. That would stink.
Say it. Guess it.
Is that your guess?
I don't know if I want to use my official guess on that. I should have said turnover, as in turnover a new leaf.
What's it going to be?
Turn over the lawn. I don't know, Simon. Please. Quiet. Front.
No.
Whoa.
That is one instruction
Wait, isn't it the person running this job to yell at me? Like, why since when can my opponent just talk during my turn? What is this?
I'll allow it.
Just wait till your next turn. I guess I will just go with just the word turnover.
Turnover is incorrect. I thought this one was interesting. I was thinking the chat might be able to get it. It's a little difficult. The answer to this one, a Lawn's New Year's resolution, is a field goal.
Oh, that's a good one.
Oh,
That is a good one.
that's way better than both the answers I gave.
But it's way better
Nobody's
than
gonna get points to that one.
way better than the same answer I gave twice.
Turnover. What about
Front
turnover?
Front turnover.
Not a game. I feel like sometimes, Coop, you and I are on fire with this one, and sometimes we're not. And today,
Field goal.
we are
We
not.
should have got that. We should have got that.
We should have. That was disappointing to me that
Put
we
some
didn't
coffee.
get it.
Yeah,
I'll put some coffee on it.
I think it was gettable.
I know you're my opponent,
deep
Coop,
one.
but we gotta step our game up.
I don't know. You were just being real mean to me a second ago.
Dustin said Bob's
1
gets
second
Bob's
ago.
Burgers for the SpongeBob one. That was a good guess. Good guess.
Good guess. Did anyone get
Nick
that?
said, "Who are you calling Pinhead?"
So he got it.
SpongeBob has so many good quotes. Just
Many good quotes.
chocolate. Just like that whole entire episode is preposterous from beginning to end.
I love when you lean into the mic to scream. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that wakes you right up.
It gets you right going.
Yeah,
All
I'll
right.
lean back from now on.
All right, guys. The game is 2-1. Coop, you are still in the lead here. And this next prompt is yours.
All right.
This next prompt is yours. All right, Coop. The category is football.
Okay.
And the vague description is can refer to a cartoon character or a type of fan.
A cartoon character or a type of fan.
Can refer to a cartoon character or a type of fan.
So fans are loyal. They're rowdy.
Simon strategy.
They sometimes sit in the front.
Coop's like, if I talk, Simon can't talk.
They sit in the front. They sit in the back. They're cartoon characters where you're losing me. They are Bruce Willis, diehard fan.
It's going to be Coop.
I'm just gonna go with Die Hard and hope there's also a cartoon character.
Die Hard is incorrect. Simon, you have the opportunity to steal here. Remember, the category is football. Your vague description is can refer to a cartoon character or a type of fan.
Okay. So I'm trying to think of cartoon character names that have like a dual meaning where the name of that character could then also be a word, like not named like SpongeBob. That's not a word, or named like Bob from Bob's
All right, hurry up
Burgers,
and
'cause
guess.
That's not a word either.
Clock's ticking. Let's go.
Hey, Coop, I know you think you're proving a point, but you just look like a jackass, man. I'm trying to save you here.
Okay.
I can only read digital. I'm going to need that Casio up there. It's not going to work.
Good thing I have it right here, dummy.
Oh, shoot. Sorry, I didn't realize it was taking me so long.
8:30.
I'm going to go with the
Dingus.
classic
Okay.
cartoon character of Ceiling.
Say that one more time.
Ceiling.
Ceiling
Healing fan.
is incorrect.
Oh, I was really hoping that was it. I kind of wanted it to be that.
Coop, for the glory. Do you want to take one more guess?
Who's
Yeah,
Lord?
guess.
I'll take one more guess. They say on the broadcast sometimes that the fans become animated. So I'm going to use the word animated here. That's my guess.
Oh, that's a great
Animated
guess,
is
Coop.
a great guess, but it is incorrect, Coop.
What?
Dang,
Good try.
God.
Simon, your last chance to tie this up.
Okay, my last
Save
chance.
your pride, your family's honor.
Just start naming cartoon characters. Courage the Cowardly Dog.
Okay, the cartoon character that I am going to name here that is definitely the answer is
Squidward.
Bender.
Bender is incorrect. Nobody's going to get points for this one. Not even the chat.
Chat. Not even the chat. The chat always wins.
Guys, the answer is
Homer.
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 Oh my God.
Come Come on.
I feel like I got
Same
close
thing.
getting to Futurama and Bender, right creator, right last two letters. Give me 30 more seconds. I might have found it.
You were right in the neighborhood.
Right? Like I wasn't in the same book, but I was on the same bookshelf. Like the
Yeah.
Simpsons book was right next to the one I just picked up.
You were adhering to the Dewey Decimal System.
Shout out Dewey. Thanks for your numbers.
Shout out
You
to
did it. You did it, man.
Though, for being honest, I still get confused every time I'm at the library.
It's a
100%
little
of the
complex,
time.
bro. Simplify it for me, and I got you. But
Had to be an easier system.
Dewey, yeah, you've made libraries a little bit unapproachable, Dewey. It really would have helped if you would have just simplified that a little bit.
Tim said Looney. That's a good guess. Charles said dupe.
Dupe.
I don't know what that means.
And Dustin said
There
loud.
it is.
Also
Yeah,
not
my
a
favorite
cartoon.
cartoon. Oh, that was probably whenever I said chocolate into the microphone at the top of my lungs. My bad,
Coop,
guys.
you are going to win this game 2-1. Well done, my friend.
Actually, Simon, that wasn't when you were being loud because I looked at my Casio watch at the time, and that comment came in way after.
Gotcha. You're right. That did come in after that. Unless Dustin's watching on a delay. You guys, coming up, we've got some more games for you. We're going to play some Master Debaters. And we've got Quotey McQuote face coming your way. And then we're going to give you some facts that we've learned over the past week in the Moreau You Know. Right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra.
Now being joined by Dylan Robbins, the CEO of Lucra.
Lucra is a unique new platform, but it really has a basis and a very simple idea is that we think that people want to bet with their friends, right? Our product is built off the fact that the casual fan is at the bar or at their buddy's house and they're putting $5 on the game and they're doing it on Venmo. And I think that there's a huge opportunity to open the market up to all these casual fans. A lot of people who feel boxed out by the traditional sports books because they're too complicated or there's complex jargon. They don't understand the lines or the spreads. And so Lucra's goal is to just make it simple. And our favorite way of doing that is we just connect you directly with your friends. So it's a social platform. It's peer-to-peer. We're not the house. We don't take any risk on these wagers. We just are a marketplace to kind of connect you with your friends directly to engage. So it started as just a business for sports. We've expanded outside of sports now. We offer 150 recreational games from cornhole to beer pong to darts to Wordle to Peloton, you name it. You can challenge your friends now on Lucra. And you've got all the gaming and tracking and stats and leaderboards to go with it to make it fun. So it's a bit about what we do, and excited to chat with you guys about it today.
What's the future growth of Lucra?
Good question. I think for us, it's really the expansion outside of sports. I think that we've proven that sports is a great model. We've got a ton of great customers who love our sports product, but we're really paving the way or really innovating on this recreational game side of our business as we think about all these unique categories and areas where people are competing. Spike ball, pickleball, all these things that are blowing up across the globe right now. Lucra is the first real way where people can bet with their friends on these games. And so we're getting a lot of new customers from that, a lot of brand awareness from that. I think we're just trying to iterate that product, make it more fun, make it easier. But we're going to keep our ethos the same, casual, social, and fun. That's what Lucra's about. Our average contest is $10. This is not about bankrupting your friends. It's not about winning big and paying your rent. It's about the magic of the moment and making that moment better by having $5 on the line. If you ever played a round of golf on Sunday or watched a football game, you guys get it. You put a few bucks on it. It just changes the way you interact with that game. You watch it longer. You spend more money there. And it gives us a lot of time for us to, a lot of opportunity for us to partner with other brands because of that.
Better Sports Network is sponsored by Lucra. Winning is fun, and beating your friends is even better. Download the Lucra app today to challenge your friends and win money.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. Because I already issued an apology to Soup, and now I need to issue an apology to Dustin for suggesting that he was watching on delay. That's my bad, man. I should have known better.
How dare you?
He's been the number one victim of being inadvertently placed in timeout in the YouTube chat. It's happened 4 or 5 times at this point.
He's now eclipsed Toronto Dave.
And Dave was leading in that category, and Dustin, I think, is taking him over as the most inadvertently put in timeout member of the FYF chat.
Dave still leads in people that have been purposely put in timeout. On purpose, advertently.
Well, guys,
I just threw a poll in the chat here. Who do you think is going to win the Super Bowl this week? Chiefs or Eagles? Let us know what you think in the chat. Also, I want to hear what y'all's plans are for the Super Bowl. Throw it in the chat. I got to figure out my plans, so I need some inspiration here.
I got plans, dude. I'm drinking my first beer in 40 days and 40 nights with my buddy Meat Mansion, and then my other buddy Alex. We're gonna go.
Use his full name.
Alex Gilday.
Meat Mansion 69. Come on.
Meat Mansion 69 and Alex Gilday.
Don't you disrespect him.
My two good buddies. A few of our other pals will probably be there too. But yeah, I've been very good boy. So gonna enjoy that Bud Light. That's the Bud Light I will have.
Before big football games, like my dear diarrhea that I said the other day. I found a liquor store near my house that I didn't know about that has like a really great selection of sour beers, like just a top tier selection. So before a football game or a special event, and I like to do it day of because it makes it feel a little bit more special. Like we talked about, like hop in the car, run up there. I've got my gear on for the day, whatever jersey I'm wearing or football shirt, and I run into the liquor store and I'm on a timer. Know what I mean? Like I got to get in, get out, and pick out my special beer. I'll probably do that for the Super Bowl as well.
That is kind of nice, like the event beer shopping versus like, doing it as part of the groceries. You're just like popping in. But when you're like, you go up to the counter and you're like, I'm going to the game. So that's why I need these beers. That's a nice feeling, right?
Showing up at Lisa's apartment. Got to look good. Got to carry some cool beer. Can't show up with some Mike's Hard again.
Going to Lisa's, no big deal. That's why I got this wine. That's why I need that 12-pack of Nips.
Mike's Hardigan sounds like a name, like Mike's Hardigan. The Hardigan family.
Mike's Hardigan.
Damn it, Mike.
This
is the Super Bowl.
Always in your cardigan.
I pictured a Mike's Hard cardigan is what I pictured when you said that. Like it's just like really nice, but like
but plastic.
Somebody stitched Mike's Hard in there. Like actually, like it took the time to hand
like a Lego character's vest.
I was just imagining a really stiff sweater. Like just it's Mike's Hard cardigan. It's just like you don't have much mobility.
Like Lego clothes.
That's exactly what I'm picturing.
Hard cardigan for the boys where like sleeves have been ripped off. They're not even like cut off, but they're like ripped off, so they got like the threads hanging down.
Hard cardigan for the boys is exactly how they'd market it too.
Yeah, the Hardigan. What's up?
Trying to look hard. Come on down to Mike's and get your cardigan today. 50% off all sizes.
All shades of beige. We got you here at Mike's Cardigans.
Sorry about the maroon one. It was a mistake.
50 Shades of Beige. You knew where I was going with that.
Yes. Again, I'm sad it was right in front of me and I missed it.
Right there, dude.
Well, guys,
Dustin said, I'll be at a hotel in Orlando deciding how late I want to stay up. Going to Disney the next day.
Gotta stay for the whole game.
Preempting the winners.
Exactly.
Get there
I'm
first.
going to Disney World. And Dustin's like, I'm already here.
Yeah, I mean, the easy thing is to stay up for the game. Stay for the whole game and then go to sleep immediately after. Don't go on Twitter. That's how you stay up.
Try to time your sleep with the game ending. That's the best. Where like you like phase out as they're doing the press conference at the end.
Or you wake up right as they're doing the press conference at the end.
That's the worst feeling. Whenever you wake up and
you're like, oh, uh-oh.
That's whenever you watched the whole game. Like, because you saw the beginning and you saw the end. So you saw it.
That's where that NFL Plus membership comes in handy.
I was going to say, or you YouTube Super Bowl first quarter highlights and then Super Bowl second quarter highlights in the shower the next morning.
Albert said, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Albert. Welcome in, my friend. Good to see you.
What up, Albert? Albert, you're just
Tell us what your Super Bowl plans are, and I'll stop stopping Simon here. It's like the third time I've interrupted you.
The jail just does not want to play Master Debaters at all. Every time I try to get into it, Jail's like, actually, one more thing from the chat, guys. One more thing over here for sure.
Listen, I'm a man of the people, and the people are in the chat.
Jail, you're going to master debate on this show, whether you like it or not. And we are about to get into it right now. The game Master Debaters.
Do I have to master debate on the show?
You also have to master debate. In fact, you're going to do it against JL.
In front of everyone?
Mutual master debation.
Mutual master debation in front of everyone, head to head on the show, live right now. How it's going to work is I'm going to give a topic and assign each of you guys a side in this debate. I'll tell you who's going first, and that person is going to have 60 seconds to lay out their argument for their side of the debate. Your opponent will then have 20 seconds to respond. Now, clarification, this is responding to the other opponent's arguments that they made right there, because right after that, you're going to have 60 seconds of your own to argue the case for your side. So you're going to go, your opponent will respond, your opponent's going to go, and then you're going to have 20 seconds to respond to what they said. I will then determine who the winner of that round of Master Debaters is. We've got 3 topics for you today. So whoever wins 2 out of 3 is going to be our champion. You guys ready?
Ready to lose.
Coop.
Not as ready to lose as I am.
I'm going to ask you, do you want to go first, or do you want the negative side of the first topic or the secondary side of the first topic?
Dissenting opinion.
I'm going to turn that into a positive, and then I will say I will politely concede the floor to my opponent.
Okay, so JL, you're going to go first, and you are going to argue in favor of what we're talking about here is what you're supposed to do with your autographed jerseys. You're going to argue in favor of framing them, framing your autographed jerseys and putting them on the wall. Coop, you're going to argue in favor of wearing them, that you should wear your autographed memorabilia.
Okay.
JL, you've got 60 seconds. The floor is yours. I will start my timer whenever you begin.
A signed piece of memorabilia is not clothes. It's an investment. You're investing your money into this collectible item, which has worth. It's the same reason why you heard people talking all the time growing up about mint cards, mint condition, still in the pack. It's because they're more valuable when you don't wear them. If you frame them, you put them on the wall. Look right behind me. I'm practicing what I preach. You put it on the wall. It looks nice. You look like an adult because you hung something up, and that's impressive in and of itself. But on top of that, your investment stays pristine. It stays protected. Unless you have a house fire, hopefully you have insurance. But it would still burn up even if you were wearing your jersey or if it was in your dresser. So moot point, you want to frame your jerseys. I'm telling you, because in 10 years, all those jerseys you bought and you spent all of your money on, they're going to be worth a little bit more than they were when you bought them. So you want to keep that, gain that value, win that money, invest your money, become a billionaire. Boom, done.
And that is time, JL.
Finish
JL, you have made your argument, which means, Coop, you've now got 20 seconds to respond to JL's argument before you are given 60 seconds to make your argument for your side. Whenever you start with your rebuttal, I will start the timer.
Look, an investment is defined as the action or process of investing money for profit or material result. Is that really what you're doing here? Because I'm a Boston fan. I'm a Celtics fan. I'm a Bruins fan. I didn't buy that jersey so I could sell it later for money. I bought that jersey because I'm a fan. I'm not selling that. I'm not some corporate cop-out trying to become a billionaire.
There is your rebuttal, Coop, rebuttaling the verb that we all know, JL's assertion that this should be an investment. But now you got to convince us that we should be wearing our autographed memorabilia, Coop. You've got 1 minute. I'll start the timer whenever you begin.
Look, my opponent here has tried to paint this corporate, cold, bleak landscape similar to Terminator, except not as fun, where you're essentially buying all these items to store them in a frozen locker, hide them behind a case so that someday you can sell them to someone else and take the cold, hard cash and put it in some bank account where it'll be stored as just a number in that atmosphere forever and ever for eons and eons. He's going to be the guy who buys a toy for his kid, but says, oh, no, don't take that toy out of the packaging. It might lose a little bit of its value. You're not going to be able to play with it. You know, this is a collectible. This is my collectible jersey. You're a sports fan. You're buying that jersey because you're a fan of that team, a fan of that player. If it's sitting in your house, well, you have to bring people in and bring them over and say, here's my shirt. Look at it. It's on the wall. No, dude, throw that thing on if you feel like throwing it on. Rock it. Support the team, support the squad, show off the colors of your nation of America, USA.
Ended with the USA. We got Hal in the chat coming in and saying that he laminates his jersey, so maybe there should have been a side C to this debate.
Then you can wear
or laminate.
Hal, you're a genius, bro.
Yeah, just wear it. You get the best of both worlds right there.
He just holds it up. It's all laminate. It's like really, really poorly done too.
He's at the game and he spills, like, he drops mustard on his shirt and then everyone's like, oh, he's like, oh, don't worry about it, dude. And he just takes his drink and just like splashes it on there to like just
wipe it off,
hose his jersey off.
He always refers to it as hydrophobic instead of laminated every time. Oh, my hydrophobic jersey, you mean?
Dude.
Yeah. I need to go put on my hydrophobic jersey. Tommy down here said, I am putting on my signed Jordan jersey right now after Coop's speech. Well, guys, Coop, I'm going to be honest. Having a framed jersey on the wall behind you did hurt your argument while you were giving it. But I think you're going to pull out the victory in round one anyways. An early lead for Coop. You convinced me.
He didn't even get a 20-second.
I didn't even get to rebuttal. That's how you know how, like, I already knew the outcome of this game coming into it because Simon has picked Coop every single time. So it doesn't matter. It's already rigged. Proof right there. It's all scripted.
Everyone's got to peek behind the curtain.
Scripted. JL, Coop won 2-1 last time. It was 1-1 going into the
very
final
close.
round. You did not. He did not win every single time. You won one of the 3 debates last time. 33% of them. You've now won 25% of the debates that have taken place here.
I remember them all being close.
There's so much time.
Disagree.
Also, wearing your autographed jerseys is so stupid. I got a horrible side of this debate.
You spent your whole time arguing about me.
Well, that's
your whole argument was
like,
just essentially a straw man argument.
I basically like tried to make you seem like Mark Zuckerberg. That's what I was like. How do we just attack? Yeah, ad hominem attacks work, bro. Did you not? Donald Trump got elected president, bro. Yeah, you just attack. Ted Cruz's dog. Ted Cruz's wife is a dog. She has a dog face. Like, that's how you win debates.
I want to apologize for bypassing formal debate procedure here and skipping your rebuttal. But
forgiveness pending.
I've already given the point and I can't ungive it. Those are the rules. I apologize.
Possession arrow your way.
Possession arrow double your way.
But I respect it.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, Coop, you're going to go first in this next debate. What you're going to be arguing is that there are not aliens living among us. JL, you are going to be arguing that there are aliens living among us. Coop, you're up first. No aliens living among us. Let me know whenever you're ready, or just start, and I'll hit that timer.
Look, if there were aliens really covertly, secretly living among us, there's 2 things that would go on here. First of all, we would probably know. Like, how were they going to fly under the radar in front of our very eyes without us figuring it out? Like, we've known this world for quite some time, and science explains virtually all of it, and then we somehow don't know that they're here. The other thing is, what the heck are they doing? Like, if they're here, how about intervening with some of your cool stuff? Like, how did they even get here? The fact that we haven't gotten a message from any aliens speaks to the fact that there's no aliens here. Not to mention, think about how far space is. Like, if we sent messages out, like, our messages, by the time they reach anybody, it'll be millions and millions of light years away. Like, I mean, the messages we just sent, they probably need another 10,000 years for them to even reach anybody. The whole idea that there are aliens out there, I believe it. They are out there somewhere, probably a long, long way away. Here, I don't think so.
That is your time. Thank you, Coop, for that spirited conversation about aliens not existing on planet Earth. Well, JL, You now have a full 20 seconds that I'm going to give you for your rebuttal to Coop's assertion that there are not aliens here before you get a full 60 for your assertion that there are, in fact, aliens among us. Let me know whenever you're ready.
Allegedly, I'll get the full 60. We'll see. I'll spend my 20 seconds answering the questions that Coop brought up here. How are they undetected? It's easy. They got cooler stuff than us. They got all that cool technology. What are they doing here? Probing our butts. Why haven't we gotten any messages? It's because they're on a different cellular network, Coop. They don't have the Verizon. They don't have that T-Mobile. They can't send messages to us. We got to figure out how to do it. That's it. That's all I need.
2, 1, and that is your time, JL. Thank you so much for that beautiful rebuttal. And now I'll determine the winner of the. I'm just kidding. You are going to have a full 60 seconds to give your argument for why there are aliens among us.
That's me?
The floor is yours, JL.
Oh, shoot. Forgot I was going to be asked the question. Listen, we've all seen the documentary, the Marvel Cinematic Universe documentary series. There are clearly aliens out there. There's so much documented material out there, research material. You have that History Channel show about the aliens. You got UFO sightings. Area 51, what are they doing in there? I don't know. Still don't have an answer to that. You got all these UFOs coming out. Can you explain that? Freaking balloons flying everywhere. Aliens are here. Mathematically, we know this. We know it's a fact. We just can't find them yet. They're a little sneaky, but we're going to find them. There's too much evidence pointing all in the direction that the aliens are here, and they're probing us already. That's it.
Thank you, JL. Didn't need all your time, but you made a strong case during that time period. People in the chat, Hal said, JL, you win. It's true. They are here. Tommy said, E.T., American Dad. I mean, come on. When you talked about the preponderance of evidence, JL, and Tommy just brought up 2 more pieces of evidence there as well. Before we determine the winner, though, I will not make the same transgression twice. Coop does have 20 seconds to respond to your case there, John Luke.
I like how
luxury.
I like how JL starts his almost always with listen, and I start mine with look.
And I now start the timer after listen and or look. I wait for it.
It actually makes it easier for the timer, right?
It does. You give me a little starter.
Look, for you to believe that aliens are here, you have to believe that aliens beat us to finding the aliens, that they found us before we could find them. And in that case, you think that the aliens are smarter than us? I think that the Americans are the smartest aliens out there. USA, USA, USA.
I have to cheer. I have to join in on the chant.
That's
so hard.
Time.
So hard not to join in on a USA chant when they get going.
My debate coach was just like, what the hell? I'm like, sorry.
My debate coach was literally
was Lois Griffin.
My debate coach, his name is Kevin Frank. He's not even actually an American. He's a Canadian, but he coached me up. He said, if you got nothing to say,
always go USA.
Always go with the USA.
It's the greatest country ever made.
Always appeal to nationalism.
When in doubt, appeal to people's nationalistic tendencies.
Thank you, Kevin.
It'll get you far.
Thank you, Kevin.
Well, guys, it's time to determine the winner here. Coop, you definitely have the less fun side. It's not as much fun to think that aliens are not among us. Angie did a worse job arguing it. JL laid out all of the evidence that was existing there, and JL is going to win round 2, which means it's all going to come down to round 3 of Master Debaters.
When JL pointed out that they were doing stuff to our butts, I was a little worried. But then when he pointed out for a second time, that's when I knew I was done. That's when I knew JL had it. That's when he really
nailed it home.
That's when
Explain all the diarrhea I have without aliens being involved somehow.
That's when he really drove the point home.
The math checks out. What can I say?
I knew I was in trouble. I knew I was in trouble when you circled back on the probing.
You didn't meet the butt quota in an alien-related argument. It's like a simple line you got to meet.
It's so hard to argue that aliens are not touching our butts.
I mean, why else would they be here?
Pretty good butts.
Yeah.
Some of the best in the universe. That's what the aliens are saying to each other.
How do they work?
Why? That's just what they keep asking. Why?
They're just like, it's just a marvel to them. They can't figure it out. It's like an enigma.
they're like, we're asking about we're gonna do the Super Bowl. The aliens are up there, like, what are you doing this weekend? And they're like, I'm going down to Earth to get me some of that sweet alien butt. Because we're aliens to them, so they would also call us aliens.
Classic.
They hang out in the Taco Bell bathroom because the sound of our people is just so beautiful to them. Like, and it's the natural environment where you can hear the most beautiful songs created by the butt.
A symphony.
The butt.
There's a book I added to my reading list recently called Butts, A Backstory. And it's all about the history of butts throughout civilization and like how they've been viewed by different societies and different cultures. And they're like,
it's like the evolution of how butts have changed over the ages.
But I added it to my reading list. Maybe.
Slightly.
I don't know. I'll update you guys on the
Only
history
slightly.
of butts.
We need a full report. I need a full report on my
45
desk.
minute segment.
When you finish, full 4 minutes. When you finish this book, we need a thorough report.
Coop, I promise you a thorough butt report.
Thank you.
You will get. Guys, we got one more round of master debaters here. This is to determine the winner. JL, you're going to be going first.
Again?
Oh, did you go first last time? No, you went first the first time.
He went first the first time. Yeah,
which means yes, again, to answer your question promptly. So you're going to be arguing for me the Broncos will make the playoffs next year. Coop, you're going to be arguing for me that the Broncos will not make the playoffs next year. John Luke, you've got 60 seconds. Whenever you start, I will hit go on the timer. Just let me know.
Okay. Simon, I'm gonna start now.
Okay.
I know it was a rough year for the Denver Broncos. I know what you're thinking. You're sitting there, just like me, thinking they can't turn it around. Russell Wilson, he's not good enough. He's too weird. He's not Mr. Unlimited. He can't cook. Turns out he was just a kid on a Segway with his moon shoes, doing his high knees on the airplane. And all that is valid. It's okay to feel that. You should feel that. But I'm here to tell you it's okay because Daddy Sean is home. Daddy Peyton is here. He's going to bring Taysom. He's going to bring the gang back together, get Alvin Kamara, get Michael Thomas, bring them all in for Russell Wilson. He's going to win that championship. Yeah.
The just almost
go Broncos, go.
The child show like enthusiasm that JL just portrayed for the Denver Broncos. It's going to be tough to follow up, Coop, but you got 20 seconds for that rebuttal. Let me know when you're ready.
I mean, I just want to. Sorry. Look, a big part of JL's spirited debate there was that they're going to bring over Taysom Hill, who doesn't really even have a position and isn't particularly good. They're going to bring over Alvin Kamara, who is likely to get suspended for like 6 games next year. And they're going to bring over Michael Thomas, who hasn't actually played meaningful football in 2 years and very well might be done. Those ankle injuries are a big problem. So good luck bringing over that squad, JL.
That is it for your rebuttal, Coop. But you got 60 seconds. You didn't think about Madden. You got 60 seconds to make your own case for them not making the playoffs next year. Start when you're ready.
Look, let's get deeper into this situation here. The key to this team has been Javonte Williams. He's got a serious knee injury, not just an ACL, which Breece Hall is already on the treadmill. We're talking about ACL, MCL, PCL, where Javonte Williams isn't even working out yet. Guys like J.K. Dobbins, and J.K. Dobbins got hurt a full month before Javonte Williams did, and he wasn't right for virtually the entire season. So you're going to lean into that situation. Then you've got Russell Wilson coming in, who's going to turn 35 this year and teach him a brand new playbook, the second one in 2 years. And all of a sudden, he's going to be a megastar like Drew Brees, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Maybe Sean Payton is a great coach, or maybe Drew Brees is just an amazing quarterback. And he was riding on those coattails. And now he thinks that he's going to stumble out of the booth, get paid $85 bajillion of Walmart blood money, and turn this team into a winning organization. America.
That is your time, Coop. John Luke, you've got 20 seconds for your rebuttal that I'm not going to forget this time. Start whenever you're ready.
Listen.
So
Broncos
strong.
country. Let's ride. Mr. Unlimited. Let Russ cook. Let's ride. Let's go. USA.
USA.
Broncos gonna win. Let's go. That's all.
You make a really educated and concise point there, JL. That rebuttal, you hit on all the points that Coop brought up during his talk there. It's a really close call between you two to determine who the master debater is today. JL, you bring up Daddy Sean. It's hard to argue against that. Coop, you brought up that Russ's cooking wasn't so good last year. The true master debater on February 7th, 2023. Tuesday, by the way. Tuesday, by the way, in case anyone was wondering, is Andrew Cooper. You are 2-0 as a master debater. JL.
I'm not kidding. I would have picked JL. That last 20 seconds I thought it was unstoppable.
Listen, it's just another chip on my shoulder. I'm going to come back stronger. I don't need Simon to validate me. I know what I'm worth. Broncos country, let's ride.
That's right, dude. I was fired up, dude. You got me going. I was like, geez, I'm on the wrong team. I was ready to pull the Ted Cruz myself and just be like, I know you made fun of my wife, but God dang it, you give me fired up.
She's pretty terrible.
Yeah, I know you made fun of my wife, but God dang it, you give me fired up. I endorse you, Donald.
Alan, here's to jail. You should have shamed Simon harder. Then maybe you would have won.
That also is such a good tactic. Such a good tactic.
It is.
Shame the person determining the winner in a subjective game.
Always worse.
Well, it can go either way. It can go either way, right?
Any kids listening, remember that lesson. Shame works as a manipulation tactic against people.
Emotional manipulation.
Kids, wait till you find out how well fear works.
Well, guys, coming up, we've got some more games. We're going to play some Quotey McQuote face, and then we're going to teach you a little something we've learned over the past week in the Moreau You Know. If you're enjoying what we're doing here, you should head on over to our YouTube channel at Front Yard Fantasy. Hit that subscribe button. Make sure you don't miss any of the other stuff we're putting out. We got another game show today, the Fantasy Football Game Show, and then we're always putting out clips and shorts as well. But right now, you're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Call, chat, and enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network. Moose and Keith.
Because I never asked you this. When Noah was growing up, when did Noah first where you got a sense that this is what my son wanted to do?
I was really busy during his formative years. I didn't meet Noah till he was about 19.
Nice. So, your wife did a good job.
Yeah, you may want to talk to your wife. I would say about 13, he started showing a legitimate interest. He started getting curious about how I prepared, what it required. And then I saw a little bit of a shift, 14, 15, where he was concentrating on the on-cameras, the interaction between play-by-play and analyst, and started probably taking mental notes at that point of the performance aspect of, okay, you do all this prep, but you got to go out and deliver it. So, yeah, probably that 14, 15 range, I thought to myself, this could be something he really wants to do.
Front Yard Fantasy, weekday mornings at 7 Eastern on Better Sports Network.
You don't need to be like right 100% of the time.
No, there was a tweet about the refs that had me kind of cracking up the other day because somebody was like, we have the technology to track the ball down to a centimeter and figure out what speed these guys are running on the field. Yet somehow we still mark the ball by
That's my favorite.
a 60-year-old dude eyeballing it, and then we run over with literal chains and measure it. It's like, you think we could probably get that figured out.
The least precise way to measure something, and then immediately following that up with a super precise way of measuring something.
Yeah, it's like we have satellite.
Like if you're a millimeter short of that chain that they bring out there, that they ran out it as best they could in a straight line. But if you first they just go here,
and then they grab the chains and they run in the straightest line possible. But then if you are 1 millimeter short with that football, it doesn't count. Sorry. Couldn't have been human error. You're just short.
That's exactly. And, they bring out the index card or whatever. Meanwhile, they have satellites in space tracking how fast Brandon Aiyuk ran on an end around. But we can't,
and I can see that number live while he's doing it. Like I can see every player's speed on the screen live.
I love that. It's and not to mention that dude's trying to make the spot and the player always tosses the ball right into his face, right? Like he's coming over to spot it and it's like every other time the player's just like, here you go. Here's another thing to juggle.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Is it me, Ray, or is the only publicity that Microsoft Surface has gotten out of their whole thing on the sideline is people throwing them to the ground in anger? Is that just a me thing? Or the only time I hear about this device, Ray, is when somebody is chucking it on the ground, just pissed off at it. Which I get it. All of us are in that world. We love to do that. Only in the NFL, Ray, can they get away with it because these are free. There's no cost. It's part of the sponsorship. Here's 5,000 Microsoft tablets to get you through the NFL season. And these players, Ray, just slamming them down. It's like they've become Dilbert on the sideline, and they're so frustrated. They're just the only publicity this company and this product has gotten is negative.
Better Sports Network. It's sports talk done better.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show. We got our headphones on, our brains running, our coffee in our system, and our arms stretched out. And we're ready to get into some more games here. Before we do that, though, I want to remind everyone that Better Sports Network is sponsored by our friends over at Lucra, redefining friendly competition. We got a link right here below us in the chat that you can click, download it, use code BSN, and you're going to get a free $10 to play with, plus a 100% deposit match up to $100. There's Cornhole, Peloton, the Super Bowl, NBA, all on there that you can challenge your friends in. So download that app using the link below and code BSN to get that free $10. Our next game we're about to get into is the very aptly named, descriptive, hardly needs a rule set explained, Quotey McQuote Face.
Ah, yes, Quotey McQuote Face.
The game that describes itself.
It does.
But in case you need a little bit more clarity on how this game works, I'll give it to you. This is the game where contestants are going to be presented with an anonymous quote. When given that quote, they're going to have to tell the person presenting it who said it and in what context they said it. There are 2 points available for every single prompt. If you get both of them, you're going to get both of those points, but miss either part, and your opponent will have the opportunity to steal. We'll go back and forth until we run out of quotes, at which point the person with the most points is our Quotey McQuote Face champion.
True. All right, guys, you ready to get started?
I'm ready. Coop, this one's mine. You took me down in the first game we played. I'm winning in this one.
And Simon, you went first in that one, if I'm not mistaken.
I went first to make descriptions. I did. Threw away my advantage.
I don't want to jinx it, but I'm having kind of a solid day in the game front.
Coop's 2-0. Joe, we haven't been able to take him down yet.
Yeah, one of those times is your fault, though. So I'm not sure that's the same.
That was, as Earn Dog pointed out, that was just going by the script.
Going by the script.
And Joe, like I said, we together haven't beaten Coop yet. That included your loss. I was a part of that.
That's true. You were just acting on principle. And Jay in the chat said, I refuse to let my kids watch this filth. Yeah,
smart.
You absolutely should. Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I just tell them not to say the stuff we say. They can watch it. You know what I mean?
Not to listen.
Just say, don't say the words that man just said. Got it.
What do you want for Christmas? Daddy, can I get the butt book that Simon's reading?
Honestly, I think that's an appropriate book.
And you know what? At least the kid's asking for books, rather than I don't know.
Magazines.
Transformers or some sort of junk.
Transformers are ruining our kids.
Yeah, stupid Transformers.
Don't get me started.
Unrealistic vehicle expectations from the
Yeah.
start.
Like, is it a
Cars
car?
can't do that.
Is it a car? Is it a person? Figure it out.
All right, guys, let's get into our game of Quotey McQuote Face. Coop, you are going first on this one. Here is your first quote. And remember, there are 2 points available on every single quote here. If you don't get it, Simon can steal it on either point. Here's your quote. I'll play through all injuries that the trainers let me play through. Kelsey hurts my feelings like every single day, and I still play. Coop, who said this, and what are they talking about?
Okay, I gotta go with the chalk answer on this one, right?
I just closed the chat, even though I'm hosting the show.
No, okay. There's a Kelsey on both teams, so that doesn't give away anything. But I gotta go with the chalk answer, which is Patrick Mahomes with the ankle. He's got the ankle injury. The trainers let him play through it. So I'm gonna say this is Patrick Mahomes talking about playing through the ankle injury, and obviously, and the Kelsey he's referring to is Travis Kelsey.
Coop, that is absolutely correct on both fronts.
Yeah.
2 points for you, my friend. And friendly reminder, play along in the chat. We love it. Throw your guesses in the chat. Contestants, they won't see it.
Yabba dabba doo.
Even if they did, they wouldn't say it.
I was pretty confident it was on the Eagles side. Like, I'm glad that one went to Coop because I was sitting there as soon as he said Patrick Mahomes, I was like, oh, good, I'm going to get to steal. I thought it was Dallas Goedert talking about Jason Kelsey because I feel like I did see him come on, like say, I'm going to be good to go to play. I'm going to play no matter what.
And
that is tricky.
Dallas Goedert did, like with the previous injury, he was a guy that was coming out routinely saying, I'm ready to play now. You know what I mean? So Dallas Goedert is that kind of guy that is I'll play no matter what.
I felt good about that one, but would have been wrong.
Would have been wrong. And Hal in chat said Hurts talking about Jason and then immediately following that up with, I quit.
That's the spirit.
That's the spirit. All right. Well done. Well done, Coop. It's going to give you 2 points. And now, Simon, it's your turn. Here is your quote. He's up there. He's definitely great at what great in his career. I have a lot of respect for him doing what he's doing as a Texas guy. It's going to be a lot of fun. Simon, who said this and what are they talking about?
So let me just repeat it back to you. He's doing what he's doing, and I like when he does it. And when he does it some more, he's going to do it in Texas. Was that what you said?
Spot on.
Okay, cool. I'm assuming this is talking about a new coach to a Texas team. So that makes me think of two people right now, D'Amico Ryans or Brian Schottenheimer. Now, Brian Schottenheimer was already an assistant with the Dallas Cowboys, so I don't think they would maybe mention the Texas roots. And I know D'Amico Ryans is a Houston Texans guy. So I'm guessing this is them talking about the hire of D'Amico Ryans to the Houston Texans. That's the context I'm giving. But I don't know who said it. And I'm trying to think, like, is there even like star power on that team? Like that it would come from a player that would be like, I'm having trouble. Like, who's the star? Who are we putting here? Maybe I'll go with a young player that maybe they're excited about. And I'll go with Dameon Pierce said this about the hiring of D'Amico Ryans to be the head coach of the Houston Texans.
Dameon Pierce talking about the hiring of D'Amico Ryans as the Texans' new head coach is
half correct.
Incorrect on both fronts. Sorry, Simon. Coop, you have the opportunity to steal both points in this quote. If you can get it correctly. Reminder, you need to guess the person saying it in the context, what they're talking about. Here's the quote. He's up there. He's definitely great at what he's doing. Been great in his career. I have a lot of respect for him doing what he's doing as a Texas guy. It's going to be a fun one.
Okay. I think I misheard the Texas part, doing what he's doing as a Texas guy.
As a Texas guy. So this is a person from Texas talking about somebody from Texas. And I think when they say going to be a fun one, I think that implies to me that they're talking about somebody who's playing in the Super Bowl or coaching in the Super Bowl. Because I'm not sure what he would mean going to be a fun one otherwise. Got to figure out who is from Texas. which I struggle with that at times.
There's a lot of them.
There are quite a few of them, Simon.
Big state.
Currently.
There's Charlie. There's Greg. There's Tanya.
Bill?
Maybe
Tanya's really nice. She offers me water when I'm walking my dog.
I don't think there's any Tanya's playing this week.
That was last week.
That was last week. It was all right. I think this is another Texas guy. Is Patrick Mahomes from Texas? I don't think he is. But he might be.
What's it gonna be, Coop?
I don't know. I'm just gonna go with. I'll go with. What players are asked about other players? Like when they're like, "Oh, what do you think about this guy?" And they're like, "Oh, that guy. He's from Texas, so all right, I like him." Maybe it's Travis, and maybe it's Dallas Goedert talking about Travis Kelce.
Dallas Goedert talking about Travis Kelce is incorrect on both fronts.
Dang.
Simon, you want to take one more shot?
Whenever you said Patrick Mahomes is not a Texas guy, he went to Texas Tech. I don't know if he's from Texas, but he is a Texas Tech guy from Texas.
I think that makes him Texas.
So it could be talking about Patrick Mahomes. But we've already had one quote talking about Patrick Mahomes. So I'm going to go a different route. I don't know.
I wouldn't put it past Keith.
I don't know where Andy Reid is from, but I do know it's a young coach going against an established coach with a great career. And it might make sense to throw a little love that way. And I'm going to say Nick Sirianni talking about facing Andy Reid in the Super Bowl and how it's fun to be facing a coaching legend like Andy Reid.
Ah.
Oh, and JL giving us the secret answer.
That's what I thought you
You're
said.
going with Nick Sirianni talking about going up against Andy Reid.
Yeah, and I have no idea if that dude's from Texas.
And that is incorrect. Coop, you have one last opportunity to steal these points. Got a quick answer?
Yeah, I got a real quick one for you. Is it give me
I'm gonna go take a nap.
Is it
Miles Sanders talking about Jerick McKinnon?
Miles Sanders talking about Jerick McKinnon is incorrect. Incorrect, Coop. Both fronts. This was Jalen Hurts talking about Patrick Mahomes and the level of Patrick Mahomes' skill.
Never underestimate Keith's ability to make all the quotes about the same person.
I
Super Bowl
should
week.
have gone for it. I should have gone for it. I purposely avoided it. That was the dangling fruit in front of you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me peep.
Hey, it's on you. It's on you guys with the assumption. I like that little switch up from Keith there.
Patrick Mahomes is born in Tyler, Texas.
Tyler, Texas. Another Texas place named after just an ordinary person.
They keep just giving them names. Kyle. Tyler. Katie.
Jalen Hurts is born in the small town of Houston, Texas.
So they're all Texas.
Victor came and said, is it Jalen Hurts the last second? Nice. And Tim got the context. Somebody talking about Mahomes. Well done.
Nice job, guys.
Good job, everyone.
Well done. All right. Nobody's going to get points on that one. Score is still 2-0. 2-0. And this next one is yours, Coop. Here is your quote. Probably the loser. Somebody's going to feel pretty crummy, and I want to be with them initially. Coop, who said this and what are they talking about?
Probably. Can you give it me one more time?
Probably the loser. Somebody's going to feel pretty crummy, and I want to be with them initially.
I want to be with them initially.
I want to be with you initially.
I want to be with you.
That was my pickup line. Just walk up to you like, "Hey, baby, I want to be with you initially."
Hey, baby.
Not after that.
Well, we'll see about eventually, but initially, I'm in.
And then moving forward on a tentative.
Hey,
How does
baby.
that sound?
Are you feeling pretty crummy?
You in?
I want to be with you initially.
Let me eat them crumbs up, girl.
Let us carve our initials on this tree and be together forever. Initially, is that
All right.
that? I take that too far. All right.
No, took it just far. Tree carving is really our line.
You carve your.
That's where we draw the line.
You carve your initials and then you carve.
Environmental damage is about where my line is. Yeah, that's the line we cross. Nothing to do with the sexualization of a tree.
Hey, scars make it sexy.
So I'm gonna say after the game, when you do the little reporter, maybe this is a reporter talking about talking to when the game's over. I don't know. I'm gonna say Greg Olson talking about what he's gonna do after the game. Go talk to the losing team first.
So you're going with Greg Olson, and the context being which team he's going to go talk to first?
I think so, yeah.
Okay. That is incorrect on both fronts. Simon, you can steal these points. Want me to say the quote again?
No, I got it. Something that's really comforting whenever you're struggling is a hug from your mama. And this is Mama Kelsey talking about whether she's going to comfort Jason or Travis after the game is over.
Perfect. That's it.
Simon, that is half correct. The context is correct. The person is incorrect. So
is it Papa Kelsey?
Let's see that. Those Simon, you were stealing from Coop, correct? Right.
Yeah.
All right, so I want all of our redemption this round, but the real answer, this was Ed Kelsey. This was their dad.
This was Papa Kelsey. That was sneaky because all the news has been about Mama Kelsey.
Old Papa Kelsey in there.
All the coverage has been on Mama Kelsey. We got the old switcheroo.
He snuck in there to say his old what for. I like that.
It's probably the loser. So yeah, this is Ed Kelsey talking about which of his children he will go talk to first after the Super Bowl is over.
That makes me think Mom's going to the winner. You know what I mean? Like Ed's going to the loser because Mom's like,
you'd win the
I
whole
love
time.
you less. Yeah, like immediately like values her children based on who wins the Super Bowl more. And Ed's like, yeah, I'm the loser of this marriage. I'll take care of the loser.
Classic
of the son.
emotional trauma.
Hey, he'll go over there. He'll go over there. He'll go over there initially. And then it's time to party. Then it's time to party.
Texting the winner, like, oh yeah, knew you'd win the whole time.
Right? He's just like, he's just comforting him, and then somebody hands him a bottle of champagne. He's like, all right, Jason, gotta go.
Enough grieving now. Be happy for your brother.
Yeah, the Kelseys. The thing is, they both already won Super Bowls. They're both, megastars, all pro caliber. I'm almost certainly Hall of Fame players, so it's easier for them to get over a loss like this, to be, you know what I mean, than it is for somebody like AJ Brown, who, this might be his only chance to win a Super Bowl. So
yeah, it's not guaranteed you even get one shot at winning a Super Bowl in your NFL career, even if you have a long NFL career.
The guys named Brady, Manning, and Manning won like all of them. You know what I mean? Like, think of that. Think of how many of those guys combined to win. It's like the Mannings had 4, Brady had, that's like 11 of them. Like Philip Rivers is sitting there. He's just like, can I just have one? Like one time, bro?
No. That was Manning, by the way. You decide which one.
Yes. Oh,
you decide. That's a choose your own adventure, Manning.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's tough, man.
Choose your own
win.
Manning.
It's tough to win in this league, bro.
It is tough to win.
They just said, shout out to Mama Kelsey bringing her son's fresh baked cookies to media day. Anyone would love cookies.
Legend.
And Damon here said, Kelsey dad. Guess that correct.
Nice job, Dame.
Yeah. I'm surprised. I would be making it all about me if I was Ed Kelsey. I'd be like, this is the Ed Kelsey show. Welcome.
I did it. A lifetime of work. Now both my sons are playing in the Super Bowl. That is like the proudest dad moment. Parent moment, mom moment. You're like, what are you doing this weekend? Oh, my sons are playing against each other in the Super Bowl. They've reached the peak. They've reached the peak of athleticism in the United States and are showcasing on the world's largest stage tonight. But what are you doing? What do you got going on? Oh, bingo. Bridge. You're playing bridge with your friends. That's so much fun.
He goes to Obama's dad and he's like, oh, your son was president? Just one. Because I have 2.
Also, what if your kids won a Nobel Prize together?
Well, if they had to
Then that's
split
a
it,
prouder parent.
It's
Well,
pretty
it
cool.
depends which Nobel Prize. Are we talking physics or are we talking economics? Like, there's a
Literature.
difference.
Oh, big
literature.
difference.
If they have to
Oh,
split,
poetry.
if they split the Nobel Prize, then give me the Super Bowls. If they each win their own,
I'm not proud of either of you.
if they each win their own separate Nobel Prize, now we're talking.
Coop shows up at the ceremony and goes, "Oh, it's just one."
Congrats
Just
on
one.
congrats on half a Nobel Prize. Well, one Jason gets it on the weekends and Travis gets it on the weekdays. I mean, what do you do with that?
Jason never
Nothing.
gives it to Travis. All right, Simon, we got one more quote. You ready?
Let's do
This
it.
one's yours. All right, here's the quote. I didn't understand art until one day Tom Brady took me to the museum and we looked at the Picasso and he said, "That's a touchdown." We looked at the Rembrandt and Tom said, "That's another touchdown." We looked at the Vermeer and Tom said, "That's another touchdown." And I said, "No, Tom, that's a field goal." Simon, who said this and what are they talking about?
I am so sorry. I just got lost in what was happening right there. That was just a bizarre sentence. I forgot to really listen. I'm going to need that one more time.
All right, here it is. Listen closely. I didn't understand art until one day Tom Brady took me to the museum and we looked at the Picasso and he said, "That's a touchdown." We looked at the Rembrandt and Tom said, "That's another touchdown." We looked at the Vermeer and Tom said, "That's another touchdown." And I said, "No, Tom, that's just a field goal."
Okay, so which NFL related person potentially is not a fan of Vermeer? They don't hold Vermeer to the same standards. I'm trying to who looks like a Vermeer hater is the biggest clue in this prompt right there. I do know that very recently Bill Belichick appeared on Tom Brady's podcast after he retired, and they talked about their career and told stories. And
cool.
I haven't listened to it yet. It's on my listening list for today, is to listen to the Tom Brady, Bill Belichick podcast episode. But I'm going to guess that this is Bill Belichick talking about an experience with Tom Brady going to the museum. And apparently Tom Brady's a connoisseur of the arts and was trying to explain it to Bill Belichick.
I'm sorry. Say it one more time, son.
This is Bill Belichick on Tom Brady's podcast talking about Tom Brady explaining art to him on a trip to the museum.
Simon, that is incorrect.
Boo! I mean,
And I'll say on both fronts here. I think the reason for the context being that I don't think it was specific enough.
Yeah. So
you have an opportunity to steal both points here.
This one, to me, it's a little too silly to be Belichick. I feel like Belichick, at least, he either hates art or he loves art, but he knows about art. You know what I mean? Like Belichick, he would either be an art guy or he'd be like somebody that just art doesn't interest me, and he would just be like, on the next question. You know what I mean? Whereas Brady did have some teammates that were playfully optimistic, let's say. Guys like Aqib Talib, Julian Edelman. But with this particular quote, it seems to be just dumb and ham-fisted enough.
Yeah,
something that Rob Gronkowski would say. Looking at paintings and Tom being like, "Rob, that's a touchdown." And Gronk being like, "Oh, I like touchdowns." and then Tom's like, "This one's a touchdown." He's like, "Touchdown." And then he shows him one that he doesn't like, and he's like, "That's not a touchdown. I know touchdowns when I see them."
That's a field goal.
So that's a field goal.
It's a field goal, Tom.
So give me Rob Gronkowski at the museum with Tom Brady. I've been to the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, and I can picture it right now. So I'm really hoping that's the museum, but it could have been one in Florida or somewhere. But give me Tom and Gronk go to the museum.
Coop, I'm going to give you a point for correctly guessing who said this. This was absolutely Gronk, but I'm going to give the context point to Simon. because
Okay.
your context was essentially the same as Simon's, and I didn't give Simon the point.
Yeah.
And I feel like the context I was more going for here was like him like talking about his mentorship with Tom Brady and like, you know, building that
Okay,
relationship
yeah.
before. But it's a little vague. So I am going to give the point to Simon for that one. I'll split the points here. Well
What
done.
if they were at the Boston Museum of Fine Arts though?
Then we're talking.
Yeah, we're talking. Yeah, no, I think that's fair to give Simon that point.
And I think it's inconsequential anyways because Coop's probably the winner, right?
And it is inconsequential anyway because Coop is going to win this game 3-2. Well done, Coop.
Yabba dabba doo. I'm gonna start bringing that
Undefeated
back.
today.
That's cool with you guys. Should we bring Yabba dabba doo back? You think?
Is that Scrappy Doo's catchphrase?
It might be. I think that's Fred Flintstone. I think it's a little too. I think it's a little too close to Yip Skiddly Doo.
It's pretty close.
Which is already a catchphrase of ours.
Toronto Dave in the chat said big dub for Big Coop.
Let's go.
Yeah. 3 dubs in a row today. What's up, Dave? Welcome in. Guys, coming up, we are going to teach you a little bit about some things we've learned over the past week or so, maybe earlier, just something we're bringing to light in a segment we call the Moreau You Know. So hang around here. You're watching the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network.
Front Yard Fantasy with Simon, JL, and Coop.
Sell me on doing away with the 2 conference system in the NFL.
Is it really a sale whenever this is something that's commonly agreed upon? I'm selling you on water being wet. I'm selling you on something that is objectively true right here. We look at teams at the end of the season and we go, how the hell does one team have such an easy schedule while another team is just absolutely getting obliterated? And that's because of the 2 conference system, because the division system feeds into this conference system. It's a symptom of the greater problem. Like these divisional matchups, you're telling me it's fair that the Buccaneers are in the playoffs after playing the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice, and the Saints twice this year? That is unbelievable. There are multiple more deserving teams every single year that because of this system where we silo them into random groups, it determines the order. And yes, originally this was geography based, right? We had these divisions, they were geography. It's 2023, my dudes. Geography doesn't matter whenever it comes to the size of the United States. These teams can travel anywhere. They don't need to geographically locate them in divisions or conferences to make the games make more sense. If USC can be in the Big Ten, why the hell can't Miami play San Francisco every year? It can happen. They've got more money than these colleges and they're not taking classes. All it does is create an ecosystem where less talented teams can get rewarded for playing in weaker divisions and more talented teams are punished for continuing to improve.
Damn, bro.
Drop the mic.
I like to picture some geography teacher out there just threw a pen on the ground. He was like,
How dare you?
He smacked the globe. He was like, what do you
all
mean?
the hard work we've done.
2023 geography doesn't matter, right? Smacks his
You know
globe.
how long it took for us to get respect?
Globe goes spinning around, right? Geography doesn't matter. How dare
I'm
you?
just imagining they ripped on the world map and underneath is algebra 2. Like they just go straight into being a math teacher.
Lunch Money with Kyle and Ray. Weekdays at noon Eastern, presented by FantasyGuru.com.
Paper straws. Oh, they're so bad, Ray. I mean, I'm almost tempted to say screw Mother Earth. Give me a real straw. The paper straw thing is a step too far in saving the planet for me.
It's a great idea. The problem is it has to last. Like it can't go mushy halfway through my drink.
That's
And
the
I think
problem.
That's the problem. They have a hard time standing up if you don't drink that.
100%. That's my issue, Ray. I'm all for taking care of the only planet we got. But Ray, some people like to drive a lot. I don't. I don't get on them for they have to drive 20 minutes to work every day. Can I just get a plastic straw? Like, I think, Ray, we should be able to pay for a card that says, I don't drive every day. So they said I could have this kind of environmental impact by getting a plastic straw. I am in favor, Ray, of government-issued plastic straws if I have the proof that I'm worthy of such thing. If you want it, you get it. It's kind of like the Clear Pass.
Yeah,
the
there you go.
airport.
Okay.
Like, Ray, I'd be willing to pay an extra $2 a year, and I get as many plastic straws as I want when I go out to the restaurant.
And the $2 goes toward cleaning the oceans or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. That's not a terrible idea. Not terrible.
Call, chat, enter contests in real time. It's Sports Talk 3.0 with Better Sports Network.
What's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show here on Better Sports Network. We are about to impart some knowledge on you guys, some things we've learned recently in a segment we call the Moreau You Know. I love doing this one with you guys. I'm always curious what you're bringing to the table.
This is a fun one. What you got for us today, Simon?
You got a smirk going, JL. Is there something going on?
No.
Just
happy to be here.
Yeah, I got one for you. I got one for you guys today. For my Moreau You Know, the actor who plays Happy in the MCU, Jon Favreau, actually directed the movie Elf. If you guys did, I'm just kidding. What I wanted to do for my Moreau You Know, today, a little bit different than what I usually do. The NFL season is coming to a close, but the XFL is about to start up. And I wanted to go over some of the differences between the XFL rules and the NFL rules, because I was reading through those last night, and there's some pretty interesting ones. It's going to make the game a little bit different. There's like small changes that I'm really curious about, wanting to get your guys' insight on. The first one with kickoffs, the big difference is that only the kicker and the returner may move until the ball is caught. So only the person who kicked the ball and the person returning it can move at all until the ball is caught. So they can't start running at them. Kickoffs are going to be on the 30-yard line instead of the 35-yard line. And there's going to be a difference in touchbacks. There's a major touchback if it goes out of the end of the end zone, but on the 35-yard line, and a minor touchback if it just bounces into the end zone where it gets placed on the 15-yard line. So even just starting with kickoffs, like none of those differences alone are crazy different. The one person running on each team is different. That's the biggest difference. But seems like they're trying to encourage returns without making it more dangerous on the players, which is, I feel like, been the problem with kind of encouraging returns, because it's one of the most dangerous plays in football.
Right. It makes sense. They don't want to just be boring, just all the touchbacks, but you want to reduce injury, obviously.
There's a faster play clock as well. They're going to use a 25-second play clock instead of a 40-second play clock, so try to keep it going a little bit faster. And during the final 2 minutes of each half, they're coined comeback periods. The clock is no longer a running clock, and it will stop on incompletions or out of bounds plays like in the NFL. And on plays that end inbounds, the clock will stop until the ball is spotted and 5 seconds have come off the play clock. So in the last 2 minutes, every play, the clock is going to stop for at least 5 seconds off the play clock before the next play.
Interesting.
Well, I think that's a fair rule, because even if you throw like a very short slant pass, it's not realistic to get the line and spike it in less than 5 seconds anyway. So I think that pretty much guarantees you more time. Like, so if you throw like a 30-yard pass, a lot of times 10, 15 seconds can run off. So it gives you a big advantage in that case. Even on short plays, I don't think you can get everyone to the line and spike it in less than 5 seconds, can you? Difficult. No. So I think this rule basically just, what it does is it takes a lot of pressure off the officiating crew, right? And off the offense. Like, you can make the throw, get down. Now the question is, you don't have to rush to the line then, right? Like, they just take the 5 seconds off and you can huddle up and then you're good to go.
Right. The clock will start after that 5 seconds. You can huddle up, but it is only a 25-second play clock. You know what I mean? So those 5 seconds coming off, you're already down to 20 seconds. Like, you're going to have to be moving pretty fast in the XFL. One of my favorite.
It'll make for a little less. I just want to say it'll make it a little less sloppy in the 2-minute drills, at least.
I agree. My favorite change, though, I think XFL teams will be allowed to use a double forward pass, provided the first forward pass does not cross the line of scrimmage. So they'll be able to double forward pass it. And like in college, this is what's going to make it fun. XFL receivers only need to have 1 foot in bounds to record a catch. So they just need 1 foot in bounds. We're going to get some crazy acrobat catches in the XFL. And then probably the biggest change, the XFL does not use kicked extra points. We're not going to get any of that in the game. You're either going to go for a 1-point conversion, a 2-point conversion, or a 3-point conversion. It depends whether you go from the 2-yard line, the 5-yard line, or the 10-yard line. So they're going to choose after each touchdown. So a 1-possession game in the XFL is 9 points, because you can go for that 3-point conversion on the 10-yard line after you score a touchdown to try to make that a 9-point possession.
That's
interesting.
I like all that, dude. Let's just get crazy. Like, and I would rather the experimental league like this go crazy, like just go bonkers. And if the rules suck, then we'll take them out. But you might as well try them and see if they work. And if we're like, oh, that's stupid, guess what? You can just change it. If you just start with the same game that the NFL is, it makes it so hard to then all of a sudden be like, okay, we started off playing the same game, but now we're going to change it and make it weird. Start weird and work your way back if you have to. Right?
Yeah, no, 100%. People get set in the way that it starts, right? You don't realize you're setting a precedent, but you're setting a precedent whenever you put it out there. Now, not only are they setting the precedent for these specific rules, I think they're setting the precedent that they're trying stuff out. Know what I mean? They're setting themselves up to make future changes easier as well if they want to experiment with something, because they're showing right now they're experimenting with the rules a little bit.
Yep. Minor league baseball is starting to do that, but on a very slow pace. But a lot of those rules that they've tried in minor league baseball are being adopted in Major League Baseball. So it'll be nice.
I think whenever XFL was coming back the last time, not this most recent time, but the time before that, it was like right when the pandemic was kind of right before it really hit full effect. I remember Pat McAfee talking like on a show talking about being a kicker in the XFL and the difference there with the rules. It's kind of wild to think about.
It is wild. Now, the overtime rules, they're going penalty kick style in soccer is how they're doing it. It is literally a 2-point conversion shootout. 5 attempts. Whoever scores the most points during their 5 attempts is the winner in overtime. So they're truly taking the penalty kick shootout from soccer and doing it with 2-point conversions for the teams that make it to overtime. That is sick. That is so cool. You get 5 shots, 5 2-point conversions. Whoever makes more of them wins, go. And then if they're tied at the end of that, they're going to go into sudden death.
I love that.
Interesting. Are you going to go to a game, Sam? San Antonio?
There's one a couple miles from me. I'll head over there.
Bro, get season tickets, bro. Only a couple miles?
I could walk.
Dude, I was looking at season ticket packages, and like, honestly, I think you can get like 8 games for like $100.
Yeah, I might. I'm definitely.
You might have
to,
bro.
One.
You might have to. That's gonna be, and get in there now, dude. What if it hits and the prices go up, and then you're the dude that got in year 1 and got dope like amazing season ticket seats. Then you have those seats forever. I don't know, man. Could be an investment, honestly.
The Brahmas about to take over the world. The San Antonio Brahmas.
The Brahmas, yeah.
Johnny, what is it? Johnny Brahmas.
Tommy John Hama.
That can be you,
Tom
bro.
Brahma.
That can be you. Like, you know, they have these fans that have like the crazy personalities. You become the #1 Brahmas fan with season tickets, and you're Tommy Brahma.
Brahmas.
Now
I don't even think the Brahmas was part of that.
It wasn't.
It was not at all, but it is now.
Yeah,
I don't know,
hilarious.
Simon. Am I selling you on it, dude?
You're selling me. That's my. And then me and Heinz Ward are going to become Tommy Brahma best friends.
Imagine your best friends with Heinz Ward. That'd be amazing.
That would be freaking
Wow.
sweet.
Dude, I mean,
that's what I wanted to talk about. That's what I wanted to talk about today, guys. Some of the rule changes I think are pretty exciting. I'm really excited for the extra point rules, the conversions after, and then the overtime rules as well. But we'll see how it plays out.
I got a Moreau You Know for you guys. This one has to do with Super Bowl. Did you guys know that the halftime show performers are paid the same for their halftime performance as the backup dancers? And like they're paid on a union scale. So they basically don't get paid for the halftime performance. They're paid like $1,000, these stars. But most of them do it happily because it's, grand scale. You get to debut your music to that massive audience. Ad time costs how much for a Super Bowl? It's a ridiculous amount. So they're essentially getting that money in payment. And oftentimes they actually end up putting in more money than the NFL covers. So like this article I'm looking at is talking about the weekend, is saying sources $7 million. He spent $7 million above what the NFL put in, even though the NFL officially covers all the costs. Sometimes that it's not the same. So that's kind of crazy. I did not know this.
Now I'll tell you, it's worth every penny, I think. And they should honestly have guys bid.
For them? For the musician?
For the musician, I think it absolutely is. Depending who it is. Like if you do a great job, like I'll say, like obviously like Prince and Michael Jackson, like they were already super famous and their performances are legendary, right? That just like added to their legend. But I'll tell you this.
Or if you just show your boob.
If you show a boob, dude. Amazing.
Go down in history.
Such a power move, right? But I'll tell you this, man, that one guy who is definitely worth every penny is Bruno Mars. Because I think there's a lot of people, including myself and my dad, that didn't really know like what he was about, right? And then when he came out and put on a crazy show and it was awesome, me and my dad were just like, why don't we just have this dude do the Super Bowl every single year? Like, this guy is made for the Super Bowl. He's singing, he's dancing, he's playing the drums, right? Like, it was crazy. So, like, a guy like Bruno Mars, he wasn't even on my radar really until that Super Bowl performance. And I was like, I like Bruno Mars now, right? So, worth it definitely if you can put on a killer show.
I am always of the opinion, regardless of who that person is, that people should be paid for the work that they do, if at all possible. In the NFL, it's possible. Know what I mean? They have so much freaking money. The only reason they don't pay the halftime show performers is because they can get away with it, right? It's because they can get away with it, because it's a bucket list item, because it's an achievement to do the Super Bowl halftime show. It's just them being cheap and using that as a cover for it.
They're providing value in other ways, right? Like, how much would be that much airtime during the Super Bowl would cost? Like, if you were to try and put that into monetary values, I imagine it would be a ton of money. And then, not to mention, they're paying for the most of the production also. So,
yeah, I guess it falls into one of those things of like, why pay for something that people want to do for free? But especially if you can get the highest level of quality. Right.
Yeah, they obviously get the value out of it because a lot of them do it. Not everyone though. Like, Jay-Z doesn't do it. He didn't want to do it. There's a lot of artists who've turned it down.
I looked up the watch that Jay-Z was wearing at the Grammys online, and it cost $9.8 million. And the funny thing about the website, I didn't think it was obviously that's ridiculous, a $10 million watch. But the most ridiculous part is the website I was on had a little button that said "Add to Cart." As if like somebody just gonna
just in case. You're like, look, we're just gonna put this here.
Let me just put my PayPal in real quick.
Yeah, like who out there? Like,
can I prime this?
Yeah, I even understand buying a $10 million watch, but I still imagine Jay-Z like flies to Switzerland and like before he makes a $10 million, he at least like tries it on. Like, who the hell out there has so much money there is just like shopping online and they're like, oh, add to cart?
9.8.
I also need to get some groceries, and they go to like shop.com.
Yeah, let me Instacart.
He adds one more watch to
qualify.
You have to hit 10 million to qualify for free shipping, though. So he had to add another watch in there. And they always do that, pricing them right at that line so that the one watch doesn't get you to the free shipping.
I just pick up Jay-Z plugging in his black card into the website. Like, yep, there we go. And hit submit. There we go. Yeah, like I was
the credit card number is just Jay-Z's black card.
I should try and see if I can get the order to go through. Just say I did click add to cart. It let me add it to my cart, but that's where I stopped.
Probably a good idea. Guys, that is going to be it for the Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show this morning. Thank you to everybody who came in and hung out with us today. Stick around here on BSN because up next, we've got Moose and Keith followed by Lunch Money presented by Fantasy Guru. And then tomorrow morning, the three of us are going to be back for more Front Yard Fantasy Morning Show fun. Until then, though, we are out of here, everyone. Enjoy your Tuesday. Get your week off to a great start on the second chance to do so if Monday counts as the first. See you tomorrow morning. Adios, everyone.
On the game show.